By the time the dust settles, the capital may not recognize what has changed. Zhuo Fan is pushing the empire toward its breaking point, and the final mistake could cost everyone their future. "Oh, it's you," Slaughter Wolf had a wide grin. "You were that black smoke just now, I know from fighting you. Men, form up and take him in." Thousands of soldiers gathered around in formation, their fused yuan qi and bloodlust reaching the clouds. "By commander's orders, nobody is to go in or out. Your head is mine." Slaughter Wolf whistled his halberd through the air. Shadow King was stunned. He was injured and was now facing a formation. The ending was obvious to anyone. He opted to drop all facade and took out the golden badge. "Wait, I am His Majesty's envoy, here to help Commander. Take me to him." "His Majesty, which one?" Slaughter Wolf barked. Shadow King hardened. "Tianyu's." Slaughter Wolf sized him up and nodded. He rested the halberd, still oozing killing intent, on his shoulder. "Come, we're going to see the commander. But don't you try anything." Slaughter Wolf shifted the halberd, and its cold and sharp blade froze Shadow King's blood. "If not for Zhuo Fan's strike, do you think I'd stand for your puny flair?" Despite all that, he knew he was the weaker one here and had to bend a knee following Slaughter Wolf. Entering Quanrong's commanding tent, he cupped his hands. "Commander Chuoba, I am Emperor Yuan's Shadow King, captain of the Shadow Guards. I heard about you trapping Dugu Jianshan for so long without resolution and came to your aid." Shadow King took out the golden badge. Slaughter Wolf presented it to Chuoba Taishan. Chuoba Taishan held it in his hand and waved the soldiers away. "It is genuine, but this is the last battle between Dugu and I didn't ask for help either. Lord's kindness is appreciated, but you should return." "Not at all." Shadow King shook his head in disdain. "Commander Chuoba, this isn't about rivalry, but a trade between nations. Sir has many other tasks besides dealing with the Dugu army, but it no longer matters as I have provided my help already. You just need to send your men into the gorge and victory is yours." "What?" Chuoba Taishan's heart thumped with unease. "What do you mean by that? What did you do?" "Ha ha ha, oh nothing." Shadow King stuck out his chin. "I just saw Dugu Jianshan. Using His Majesty's envoy as a cover, the old man never saw it coming. I stuck him with the soul-rotting needle and by now he should be dead. This is your best chance. Without their leader, the Dugu army is ripe for the taking. Commander only has to march in." "Shut your yap." Chuoba Taishan exploded, grabbing his collar. "I have gone to war countless times with Dugu Jianshan. This time I might have the advantage and was somewhat honorless, but at least it was a fair fight. But you and your men have fouled our last duel, now ruined by rotten people like you. Old Dugu isn't the only one enraged, I am as well. The only reason you're still standing is because of that Tianyu envoy crap. Or I would have killed you as a tribute to Dugu Jianshan." Chuoba Taishan roared, and all the other generals held hatred for the Shadow King. From anger and sadness, the undefeated Dugu army wasn't just an enemy but a respected opponent. It found its end not by Quanrong's blade, but was ruined by its own nation. As soldiers, these men felt the injustice and malcontent the Dugu army was subjected to. Shadow King couldn't give a damn, sporting a twisted smile. "Commander Chuoba, soldiers have a duty to carry. You must go in there, lead your men, and kill them all for the good of our nations. That's your duty." Chuoba Taishan squinted. Soldiers have their mission, but also army spirit. Dugu Jianshan was an honorable adversary. As he passed away on this day, I will enter 3 days of mourning, then will attack you. Chuoba Taishan glared with fury, as did the 5 wolves. Spending even a second around such a foul and treacherous filth was a disgrace to the Quanrong army. Report. A soldier burst in. "Commander, the Dugu army is at the gorge entrance, ready to attack." "What?" Chuoba Taishan and Shadow King cried out at once. Dugu Jianshan had just died, and instead of the army mourning him, they were ready to attack. Chuoba Taishan went out with his 5 wolves and Shadow King. From the thick mist of the gorge came out rows of soldiers. How were they able to break free with the entrance surrounded by the beast army? Thump. Dugu army's formation was impeccable, each step drumming the earth, intimidating the Quanrong. The 4 tigers were in the lead, carrying a simple makeshift stretcher holding Dugu Jianshan. Chuoba Taishan felt pain and sorrow, and so a god of war fell, a hero of his generation, to cruel and insidious means. Luo Yunhai held the flag of Dugu army as he led the procession, struck with sorrow still, but of firm discipline. "Go back," Chuoba Taishan spoke. "Brother Jianshan fell from misfortune and needs his rights. I will give you 3 days to mourn, then we will settle this." Chuoba Taishan's heart grew heavier, but he had to carry out his orders to wipe this hardened army from these lands. Shadow King still had that sour look, snorting. "Ha ha ha, Commander Tauba, I take it. We appreciate your generosity, but the funeral of Marshal Dugu is too important. We wish to take his body back and give him a proper burial. It is what a god of war should receive by right." "Who said that?" Chuoba Taishan shouted. Zhuo Fan walked out from the ranks as the glares of all Quanrong soldiers rested on him. "More like on that blade." What's old Dugu's dragon-slaying crescent blade doing in your hand? Chuoba Taishan cried. Zhuo Fan had his trademark evil smile. By Marshal Dugu's command, I am the new marshal of this army. There's no way that's true, Shadow King buted in. Zhuo Fan glanced over. Yes, I am now Marshal Zhuo. As for you, Shadow King, you won't have such an easy time sneaking up on me. Soaked in sweat, Shadow King tensed up inside. Dugu army had fallen into Zhuo Fan's pocket, the worst news so far. With a creepy snicker, Zhuo Fan taunted, Commander Chuoba, your future rival is me, do be careful. Cocky prick, the only one I ever had respect for was old Dugu. What can a brat do to me? Chuoba Taishan snorted. Slaughter Wolf stepped out. You'll have to go through me first. Shadow King shook his head and sighed. The Quanrong had just come to Tianyu and knew nothing. Now they take this uncanny hellish schemer as nothing but a boy. It's over, all over. They're facing an even worse existence than the likes of Dugu Jianshan, yet patronizing him instead. Shadow King grieved. He could practically see the end. Zhuo Fan's grin almost split his face, his eyes dancing in joy. He signaled and Gu Santong came over as he said, Commander Chuoba, there's no rush to see if I can match you. The question is, though, if you can match me. Chuoba Taishan shuddered, arrogant little snot. Santong smiled. While the first let out an azure flame on his forehead, the latter had an eerie reddish glow. The two auras released a wave of energy, blending in the air and smashing the beast army formation apart. Roar the beasts wailed in agony, rampaging all over the place. Quanrong soldiers made signs to get them under control, an exercise in futility. Chuoba Taishan and the wolves were startled. Zhuo Fan grinned, his eyes taking on a savage glint as he signaled, take Marshal's body. We're charging through. Form, march, Dugu Feng shouted. The Dugu army roared back, executing the order. Chuoba Taishan had no way to block them, not when his army had the spiritual beasts at its core who were running amok. His army just got sacked to 1/10 of its power. What just happened? He watched the Dugu army stroll right through them, powerless and dumbstruck to do anything. Not like he could. Shadow King came to his side, pointing at the two in front. Commander, they're to blame. Kill them and your beasts will calm down, Chuoba Taishan exclaimed. Dugu army was out of the encirclement amongst the chaos, while Zhuo Fan sported the same nasty and condescending grin all his victims were familiar with. A taunt, a goddamn taunt. Chuoba Taishan found the new marshal's skills queer. He could see why Dugu Jianshan would entrust his army to this nobody, but Zhuo Fan's style lit a raging fire under him like no one else could. Why, you rotten squib, not even Dugu Jianshan took such a stance with me, yet you dare to do so. Slaughter Wolf, take your men and grab those two, Chuoba Taishan shouted. Slaughter Wolf bowed, yes sir. His division was the only one battle ready. Slaughter Wolf took his hundreds of thousand men at Zhuo Fan and Gu Santong. The soldiers in white looked like Usuras, fusing their yuan qi and bloodlust. Slaughter Wolf led the charge, flicking his mighty halberd and shuddering the air around. Zhuo Fan looked surprised. It was his first time meeting a formation. Slaughter Wolf alone meant nothing to him or Gu Santong, just a pinch and he'd be gone. Yet with the men behind him combining their yuan qi, they released an even greater pressure than Huangpu Tianyuan's 9 dragons diamond body could. Facing such a flood alone, he'd be torn to pieces. While Gu Santong laughed, having the benefit of a tough sacred beast body, great timing, let me have a shot. Hold on, young Sanzi, you might not be able to handle this either. Zhuo Fan held his shoulder. Besides, battlefield by definition means a group battle, a battle of brains, not brawn. The more glaring a formation's strength is, the more devastating its weakness, its mobility. Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan's right eye flashed golden, divine eye of the void shift. Whoosh, Zhuo Fan and Gu Santong were gone. Slaughter Wolf's power surge hit nothing. Boom, the only victim here was a hill in the distance, now sporting a huge gap in it. Slaughter Wolf rested his halberd and looked around puzzled. Chuoba Taishan and the other wardens were just as speechless. Whoosh, a sharp sound came and Chuoba Taishan felt a chill on his neck and froze in place. The same thing happened to the wolves, looking back stiffly. Zhuo Fan and Gu Santong had popped up in their sights, holding the commander's neck at Dugu Jianshan's blade point. Commander, the wolves panicked. When did he get behind them? Why didn't they sense it? And more importantly, how did he do that? Shadow King was the only one here aware of Zhuo Fan's intimacy-violating fancy trick. First you look down on your enemy and are now blindsided by having your head held hostage. How are you going to fight? Don't move a muscle, Zhuo Fan threatened and the wolves stood still. Zhuo Fan grinned to everyone there before turning to his hostage, Commander Tauba, I have you right where I want you. Your fate is in my hands. Tell me though, is this new marshal worthy of your undivided attention? Chuoba Taishan gasped. The young surpass the old. I have been undefeated all my life yet fell in your hand at our first clash. Dugu Jianshan will find rest knowing the Dugu army is in good hands. He, I'm touched. I've heard much of Commander Tauba and Marshal Dugu being gods of war of this age and looked forward to seeing you for myself. But how you fell for it so easily, you're just not up to scratch. You're no match of mine. Say that again, Zhuo Fan roared. The wolf wardens bit back. Cocky punk, a soldier would choose death before dishonor. Is this how Dugu Jianshan train you? Ha ha ha, first things first, I was never trained under Dugu Jianshan. He once wanted me to work together, but we got stuck on opposite sides. If not for this untimely event, lacking capable leadership, I wouldn't have accepted it either. And secondly, I'm stating facts. Zhuo Fan continued with a wide smile. Shadow King here knows me best. If Commander Tauba had been some great enemy of mine, his head would have long been flying. Ha ha ha, in appreciation for your respect for our dear Marshal Dugu, I shall do the same. See ya, Zhuo Fan and Gu Santong were gone again, appearing a mile out. Zhuo Fan was crestfallen, even if free. He'd been looked down upon, considered not a threat, the only reason he was still living too. And it left him empty inside. Die, kid, Slaughter Wolf charged at him with his men. No one had ever toyed with him in his long years of service. His ego was more than a little bruised. Zhuo Fan had no time to entertain him. Finding Dugu army in the distance, he signaled Gu Santong. Soaring fist splitting heaven, the cute fist pounded the air and the earth churned like a raging sea. Slaughter Wolf was overwhelmed by what a mere kid could do. Just like a battle formation, he set up his formation just in time so he could bear through the attack. When everything was quiet, all they could hear was Zhuo Fan's egotistical voice. I am needed elsewhere for military formalities. We shall meet again on the field of battle. You're free to chase if you find that head of yours too heavy for your shoulders. Why that cocky, brash, outrageous prick? It was the thought on everyone's mind. Shadow King, who the hell was that? Zhuo Fan turned a hard gaze at the black figure, a raging storm battling in his heart. The passing of Dugu Jianshan brought unbearable loneliness to a military master such as him, but the arrival of Zhuo Fan showed him a new opponent. Shadow King sighed. Zhuo Fan, the newest upstart in Tianyu and the steward of the Wingay City's Luo clan, the 8th noble house. Cunning, ruthless, twisted, outrageously strong, all of these make him the worst opponent in Tianyu. His Majesty sent me here to deal with the Dugu army so that you'll next focus on that kid. Zhuo Fan, Zhuo Fan's eyes glinted. This is an opponent I shall fight. 2 months later, Zhuo Fan and the 600,000 troops had reached Wingay City with no interruptions from Quanrong. Safe to say, the threat of the mighty duo had driven fear into them. Dugu Feng had issued jades for the other legions of the Dugu army, but none answered. From being under the imperial family's watch, no doubt, the 4 tigers of Tianyu sighed. No matter how much they thought about it, never once did they consider their own ruler to be the one wanting their deaths, or they'd taken the whole 3 million men with them and would have avoided such heavy losses. The guest houses in Wingay City watched Zhuo Fan lead Dugu army over with slacked jaws. That's Tianyu's mightiest military. What's it doing with that kid? He's really something to pull it off. There's nothing in this world he can't do, the house lord sighed. With Dugu army tucked in his base, Zhuo Fan convened with the tigers and other lords. As the imperial family and Quanrong were rubbing elbows and Zhuo Fan had long seen it coming, it was time for the next step in his master plan. This is how it stands. Marshal Dugu was assassinated. The imperial family colluded with the Quanrong army, and now it's planning to root us all out. In the hall, everyone sat at a round table. Zhuo Fan watched them all with a grave look. We have 2 options before us. Scatter from Tianyu's chaos and avoid war, or meet them with everything we have and win the world for ourselves. Bam. Pavilion Lord Long slammed the table. The imperial family has no shame, cohorting with outsiders and killing their loyal official. It has no right to sit on the throne. We fight. You can think what you want, but Veiled Dragon Pavilion shall go all out. Long Yifi spoke with valor and might, earning the nods of many. Zhuo Fan snickered inside. They're so simple. In the face of absolute uncertainty, they'd have bolted by now. But with Dugu army around, they've found their courage in believing they will get their homes back. To these houses with a 1,000-year-long foundation in Tianyu, having all of it ruined was the greatest pain. With Luo clan as the vanguard, they were in support, and with the hope of rebuilding as a done deal, they were all in. It fell in line with Zhuo Fan's intentions. They just had to do what he wanted, and Zhuo Fan's plans to have the world were nigh. The Quanrong are too many, and they even have imperial families experts to back them. Grandmother frowned. To win this, we must expand our power and fast. Couldn't be easier. Zhuo Feng's eyes glinted. Like Brother Yifi said, the imperial family has brought the enemy into our lands and has lost all right to watch over Tianyu. All we need is to spread the word and we'll have everyone on our side. The rebellion's growth will settle by itself. Good idea, the other 2 house lords clapped. Ling Wuching next to Zhuo Fan mocked, naive. Why would anyone believe you who stands against the emperor? He would just have to declare it was you calling in the Quanrong, and the rebellion would turn into a just pursuit to save the ruler. The one to suffer will be us. Leng Wucheng, what's with that attitude? The imperial family cast out Marshal Dugu, set up his death, and every soldier of Dugu army bore witness too. It can't get any clearer than that. Zai Ziaofeng puffed his chest. Leng Wucheng said, aren't they also traitors? Although more in number, the imperial family has the final word. Who'd the clans believe, the emperor or us, the traitors? The house lords lapsed into silence. Zhuo Fan smiled. Sir Leng is right. Recall our battle with Regent Estate, the setting the imperial family created for both of us to be in dire straits, and let him take the spoils. To the point that the Regent Estate announced they'd quell us down, whether right or wrong. Yet the emperor was silent when I issued my own challenge of obscured facts and a chaotic nation, leading to an even more confused populace. It's obvious that the imperial family has the people's opinion. This time's no different. The imperial family can call us what it wants and they'd swallow it right up. No matter what call or declaration we make to expand our forces, he'll just crush it with one lousy paper. And not just foil our plans, but make us the public enemy. The men's hearts sank and the gravity of it all set in. Without a righteous cause, it would be impossible to beat the imperial family with outside help. Dugu Feng was furious. Is there no way to give Godfather justice? Of course there is, though not exactly justice. Just take a chunk out of his majesty. Zhuo Fan smiled. We cannot use the rebellion to amass power, but we can use our undying loyalty. That's ludicrous. You're telling us we should help that senile emperor instead of fighting him. Dugu Huo roared. Marshal had been loyal, but not even he would permit for the emperor to sell his country. He would never stand by such an emperor. Zhuo Fan laughed. General Huo, you misunderstand. Ever wondered why I spared Chuo Bataishan? Yeah, why? You never told me. You had that bastard right where you wanted, so why didn't you get revenge for the old marshal? Dugu Huo blustered. Zhuo Fan stated, killing him would leave the Quanrong headless and they will fall into obscurity from everyone's sights. By letting him live, though, he will look into me and go against the emperor's plan to foil me, leading to an even more chaotic Tianyu and exposing itself in the long run. Leng Wucheng admired. Just like Steward Zhu, he has a contingency ready. Impressive and marvelous. By using loyalty as an excuse, we'll force the emperor to swallow this bitter pill. Everyone was dumbstruck by what they were hearing. One's an old fox and the other a kid, though just as shifty. Just what are they planning? Sir Leng knows me well. Zhuo Fan smiled. Regardless of the reason we use to get more support, the imperial family will make a statement, unless of course we do it in his name. Everyone lit up, with grandmother laughing. The imperial family can never admit to their deal with Quanrong. Steward Zhuo, the emperor will suffer for it. Ha ha ha, the emperor is sure to have a plan in place for when the Quanrong came to light. At worst, he'll pin it on Zhuge Changfeng, but never in his wildest dreams will he guess we'll use it to bolster our ranks for the war with him. He's bound to have one funny look, ha ha ha. The others laughed with him, further amazed by Zhuo Fan's cunningness. Leng Wucheng spoke with concern. Steward Zhuo, that settles our numbers issue, but what about experts? With men that can rob lives from miles away, what good would numbers do? What's there to worry about when we have invincible scamp Gu Santong? Long Yifi laughed, taking young Sanzi for his man. Leng Wucheng shook his head. In Tianyu, Gu Santong is invincible, but there's also Quanrong. I fear they've called for experts from their guardian sect, beast-taming sect in the ethereal stage. Not to worry while I'm around. Bang, a booming voice entered the hall, followed by a stout and strong physique. Mad Dipper, he's back and stronger. Congratulations, Elder Lei, for reaching the ethereal stage. Zhuo Fan nodded. Li Jingshan had nothing but endless gratitude for him. I can't thank Steward Zhu enough for saving me. I had let emotions get the best of me. Li Jingshan kneeled. The shock was palpable. The strong and mighty Li Jingshan had utmost respect for Zhuo Fan, but never as far as kneeling. Only a great favor could drive such power to feel like words failing, and only gestures fully showing his gratitude. As for how big a favor, none here was the wiser. Zhuo Fan smiled, helping him up. Elder Li, don't be so distant. We're on the same side. I will never forget what Steward Zhu has done for me. Without you, I wouldn't even have my cultivation. Li Jingshan shone with admiration. It all became clear. Anyone would kneel when being saved from the pit of despair and given the chance to achieve what everyone in Tianyu sought but never grasped, ethereal stage. Leng Wucheng muttered, with Elder Li in ethereal stage, no enemy expert will be a match for him. Don't forget us. Qu Yanhai and Zhu Qingjian beamed as they walked inside with majestic power. All were shaking to the core and gasped. The two were the hardest to deal with in Tianyu, yet now they were just a step away from reaching ethereal too. Their combined fire and water art had to wield the true power of an ethereal stage expert. Holy hell, Luo clan's experts grow too fast. Just a few years and it has already raised 3 ethereal stage experts. This is freaky, outrageous even. Just what little tricks did Zhuo Fan use? They were merely unique experts before he came around. Besides confusion, what predominated was envy and admiration. Another figure walked in to unravel the mystery. Vicious Pill King walked cocksure to Zhuo Fan and bowed. Steward Zhuo, allowing me to refine the 10th grade heaven-reaching pill, has given me time to familiarize myself with it. It will take some time, but I promise to give every expert of our house one of the pill in a year and a half to improve their meridians. This will give our radiant stage elders the prospects of reaching ethereal stage. You didn't tell me the pill would be so incredible. The instant Elder Lee and the couple took it, they broke through. 10th grade, the crowd cried, eyes popping and looking at Zhuo Fan with slack jaws. The Punk Yan song is a 10th grade alchemist now. More importantly, where did he get those high-quality ingredients to make such a pill? We have a 1,000-year-old legacy behind us, but even we don't have a 10th grade ingredient. So that's why. All experts come into the Luo clan's fold because of the lavish promises. The house lords wallowed in jealousy, though the looks Zhuo Fan got were those of desire and beseechment. You know, Steward Zhu, we're after all your old allies. With war at our doorsteps, we ought to raise our strength too. Long Yifi rubbed his hands. Zhuo Fan deadpanned, Pavilion Lord Long, I've put friendship first always. What's mine is yours, but as you very well put it, Pavilion Lord Long, war is upon us. As the Luo clan is leading this group, it is only fitting that I shield your young from spilling needless blood. I am not the one to sell out his friends. These pills will be given to Luo clan's elders first to give you much needed cover. When the war is over, everyone will be free to partake. This meant Zhuo Fan was delaying it. Though not without dangling some hope to rein them. Those pills were just that intoxicating, giving Zhuo Fan the chance to lead them by the nose. You want it, march forward. Win and you'll have it, grinning inside at how easily he played them. While everyone was thinking of the world, Zhuo Fan was planning for Luo clan's granite foundation, but leaving 2 ethereal stage experts aside. Leng Wucheng frowned. Zhuo Fan dismissed his worries. Sir Leng, it's all taken care of. Leng Wucheng nodded. He hadn't been around Zhuo Fan since just yesterday. When it came to schemes, he would only point things out while leaving the planning to Zhuo Fan. In short, his skills were shelved in Luo clan. He was in no rush, knowing Zhuo Fan would be gone soon. And who would the Luo clan turn to next? His glorious moment would soon arrive, no doubt about it. With the toughest points smoothened out, Zhuo Fan issued the order for drafting. He had the houses go to their domains and use the excuse of Quanrong's invasion to recruit in the name of the emperor. Being respected most in their own turf, and with the name of the emperor behind them, the army ought to reach millions of heads. While the houses were under a lot of pressure, from imperial family and Quanrong coalition in front and Zhuo Fan's dangling pills behind, it worked as an incentive and inevitable danger, boosting their morale. They spread out fast as lightning, drafting, raking merits, and working double hard. With Zhuo Fan's rotten style, maybe he'd put a merit system in place for pill rewarding. So when Zhuo Fan adjourned the meeting, they were gone in a flash. The 4 tigers of Tianyu frowned, with Du Gufeng speaking out, Marshal, they're all just rabble. Against the veteran Quanrong army, they will lose. I know. Zhuo Fan smiled. The art of war has a saying, the right time, right place, and right people. To prevail against Quanrong, we need to take these 3 conditions into account. There's no better place to fight than our doorstep with all the arrangements I've made. All that's left is to lure them. Cultivation is no fool, he won't fall for an obvious trap, which leaves making him come to us, ha ha ha. Another saying is the highest form of generalship is to thwart the enemy's plans, to strike at their morale. I had the houses drafting not to use the rabble, but to force the emperor and Quanrong into a rushed war here. Then we'll fight to our heart's content. They'll come, but none shall leave. The tigers gasped, with Dugu Lin smiling. Now I see why Godfather made you the marshal. You are a true commander, devising plans and controlling the scene from miles away. In Godfather's words, commanders are yin and yang. Yang commander wins one step at a time while the yin commander devises schemes. He and Cultivation were yang, always fighting on open front. While with a yin commander at the helm, there's another feeling to it. General Lin, I get that you are calling me cunning, but are you praising or criticizing? Zhuo Fan smiled. They all laughed. The new marshal is surely yin enough, but he knows his way around an army. Yunhai, as the clan head you will be in front of your clansmen. When you want something, you have to strive for it and shake the masses. Since your time in Dugu army was short and you have been away from it for so long, not to mention you won't be leading your fellow soldiers but Luo clan's posterity, it'll be hard to win. That being said, I have a team ready for you, come. Zhuo Fan watched Luo Yunhai with a brilliant smile. Luo Yunhai was stunned but followed with the tigers. Only the elders got it, snickering to themselves. They arrived at the bunker beneath Blackwind Mountain. Luo Yunhai found it the same as always. Zhuo Fan grinned, growing for months beneath the earth. With the energy of the earth absorbed, it is time to come out. Why are you still hiding? Come meet the clan head. Boom! The huge rumble revealed a shaking ground as the earth swelled in places, soon revealing yellow hands. The bodies crawled out of the earth, presenting themselves to the stunned tigers. How are they people? With their sunken faces and bodies all shriveled up, they're practically zombies. Not just a few, but 100,000 of them. And what's with that ridiculous aura? 5,000 radiant stage experts, 30,000 in the profound heaven stage, and the rest are friggin' bone-tempering experts. Even without a formation, these numbers were shocking. Greetings, clan head Steward Zhuo, elders, the army boomed. Luo Yunhai fell back in shock. Zhuo Fan smiled. They are disciples of Luo clan that I've refined into war puppets with steel bodies and capability of flight. Use this time to train them in formations. They will defeat the Quanrong and give you all the credit. The tigers felt a chill. Even without military training, this creepy army could hold millions of soldiers at bay. Oh God, this is clearly aimed at taking over the world. Steward Zhuo is the best steward yet, paving the way for his master's glory. Drip in the gloomy jail, the morning dew fell slowly in a rhythm known only to itself. A grizzled old man, shackled with fifth-grade spiritual weapons, closed his eyes and hummed a tune, blending with the fall of water. Not like any prisoner should act. Clang, the jail door creaked open and the old man froze, looking at his visitor. A man in a golden gown walked in. Ha ha ha, my dear Prime Minister Zhuge, how do you like your new home? The emperor put on a winning smile. Zhuge Changfeng chuckled carefree. Thank you, your majesty, for your consideration. I have been very well. There's no court politics to mind, no insidious plot in the shadows, letting me find a peace long forgotten. Ha ha ha, you failed at every corner yet still find amusement in everything. I am impressed by your strong mind. The emperor mocked. Zhuge Changfeng shook his head. A loss is a loss, and no amount of anguish will change that. It's better to enjoy the newfound peace. Oh, it can't be that your majesty has come to take it away from me, no. Not at all. Although your death is necessary so as not to leave such a dangerous element to my son after my passing, and even though I will be the one to take your life, it won't be now. We've been close for 100 years now, some might even call it friendship, understanding each other to a fault. Letting you die now will make me feel lonely. Friends. Ha ha ha, Zhuge Changfeng snickered. Your majesty, is that what you call friendship, biting each other for decades? Friendship had been a delusion of mine in my younger days, but in time I knew your majesty is no friend. A ruler walks a solitary path, bereft of friends and filled with schemes. The emperor fell silent from solitude. Yes, the lands are more important than everything. I am the emperor of this nation, so how can I make friends with commoners? Even so, I once imagined this. In the times we worked together, I treated you as my confidant. Yet you still raised your hand at me. Zhuge Changfeng gazed at the black and damp jail roof. Do you recall Prime Minister Yang? I was only a small official then, but grew to my position by your majesty's grace. You said Prime Minister Yang was a vile man in control of the court. You asked me for my cooperation in getting rid of such a traitor, to take his place for the good of Tianyu. Yes, he was a man with a black heart itching to revolt, the emperor said. Zhuge Changfeng shook his head. I used to think so too, and for that, I had him arrested through the evidence your majesty brought forward. But when I barged into his home with righteous might, he said to be wary of you and committed suicide. I was baffled, taking it as nothing but a traitor's poisonous vilification. But after the first 10 years of my tenure, with dedication and passion, the same thing happened. Your majesty found another official and enticed him to strike me by appealing to his willingness to serve you. I just couldn't understand why. So I bore in silence, unmoving against any of your taunts and challenges, while also looking into Prime Minister Yang. I learned to my shock that he was the previous ruler's man, loyal and true, yet forced by your majesty to revolt. His final words now made sense. A ruler's mind has no limits. A prime minister has power over everyone, but not even I can touch him without reason in fear of public outrage and the other officials' terror. I can only have him removed. The emperor said, but Prime Minister Zhuge is far wiser. I've thought of countless excuses over the years, yet nothing reached you, having a counter for every replacement. I knew then that Yun Xuanji's prediction was true. The head of 4 pillars is you. With your power, you intimidated the 7 houses, bringing balance outside and inside of the court. Zhuge Changfeng shook his head. Everything is still in your majesty's control, I see. Although I had a feeling, I figured as long as I took proper measures, I'd escape it. I never thought. Your majesty, everyone calls me the greatest mind in Tianyu. But to me, your majesty has no equal, far beyond my meager calculations. Prime Minister, don't be modest now. I'm but a senile old ruler. You brought the Quanrong army into Tianyu without my notice. You had me cornered with them, and I had no choice but to secede a tenth of our lands to make them withdraw. I shall have this shame for as long as I live. I have failed my people and my ancestors. The emperor sighed even as he smiled. Zhu Chengfeng shook his head. I see, the one who will take the blame for selling his country is me in the end. Your Majesty's calculations run deep. Playing the century-old senile with such willpower has opened my eyes. Selling my country, one more crime to add to my never-ending list. It wouldn't matter even if I go down as the worst criminal in history, though there is just one thing I would ask your Majesty if you would be kind enough to enlighten me. Go ahead, the emperor urged. Zhu Chengfeng spoke. When I met the twin saints, they were just scholars. How did your Majesty place them in my sights? Ha ha ha, you'll have young Xuanji to thank for that. Grinning, the emperor spoke full of himself, just as Hao Yu and Dugu Jianshan came to office by High Priest's recommendation. Even before he declared it to the public, he had told me you two will emerge, becoming Tianyu's blessing. But I had him delay his announcement to first see your characters. It's how I found Dugu Jianshan to be a military man, yet bogged down by honor and easy to control. And you, Zhu Chengfeng, foolish in your younger years, yet had uncanny perception and a sharp wit. You're meant to be a shrewd old fox. For any eventuality, I had the ever-hiding twin saints fake their wounds for you to save them and remain as your trusted aides. To not raise your suspicion, each time you took an exam, I had the proctor fail you even though you didn't. You were barred entry into court for 3 years, stopping you from finding anything pointing to the heaven and earth twin saints as my aides were sent to watch over you. And when you lost hope, I had young Xuanji recommend you. With everything unraveled, Zhu Chengfeng took a deep breath and shook his head. I had been dancing to your Majesty's tune from the start. Fighting you for so many years was an arrogance of mine. Prime Minister, you've done quite well, or my plan of rooting out all powers from Tianyu wouldn't have gone so smoothly, ha ha ha. The emperor felt the world was his oyster. A man came in to report, Your Majesty, there's an urgent report. Zhu Chengfeng raised an eyebrow. Why your hell valleys, Yuming? I saw you by the second prince's side. How? Prime Minister Zhu, I don't see the harm in telling you. Second prince's rebellion was incited by me. A father knows his son's best, they say. With his rash behavior, just a nudge was enough to spur him on. The emperor taunted, the next prime minister is also decided, Yu Ming. I am humbled by your Majesty's grace. Yu Ming bowed on cue. Zhu Chengfeng sighed, Your Majesty used his rebellion to force my hand. You used your own son, made him a rebel to the throne just to get to me. Your Majesty's mind truly is boundless. They say no parent is cruel to his children, but you, Your Majesty, are by far the worst. Isn't it all your fault for being so cautious? I had everyone leave my side, yet you still didn't act. The only chance I have to get rid of you is if you strike first. The emperor snorted at his jab. Yu Ming presented a jade slip. Zhu Chengfeng said, Your Majesty, I am now blinded, down here in the dark. May I ask that you share information from the outside with this poor old official? The emperor eyed him and snorted, You're in prison for life, so it won't change a thing. Fine, Yu Ming, present the report to me and Prime Minister Zhu's ears. What good news is it, I wonder? Must be Dugu army's demise, ha ha ha. The emperor cackled as Zhu Chengfeng sat there peacefully, though his ears were twitching. Yu Ming looked into the jade and widened his eyes, showing hesitation. Your Majesty, Luo clan observed how the Quanrong army has invaded Tianyu's every corner and being loyal to the crown, is drafting men to purge the outsiders. They are now close to 1 million. What? The emperor choked, coughing. Zhu Chengfeng laughed. That's the Zhuo Fan I know. Well done, Your Majesty, I can say for sure you were asking for it. The emperor glared. Zhuo Fan, this rotten upstart, has the cheek to play with me. Absurd. Give me that, the emperor read the jade himself before frowning. This is too fast, so many men in just a few days. There's no way Luo clan's name is enough to pull it off. A taunting smile crossed Zhu Chengfeng's face. Your Majesty, it seems you forget about Zhuo Fan's ingenious tricks during the last war, welcoming the other house's experts. With their deep roots, even when homeless, their names would live on in their lands. They just had to show themselves and their vassals would flock over in droves. They must think the war is over and are now grasping the winning leg. I dare say 1 million is on the low side, ha ha ha. The mockery grated the emperor's ears with him lashing out, that mongrel came up with this move to put me on the spot. After inciting so many clashes between him and Regent Estate, I figured he'd be the weakest even if a winner. But he has gone beyond any forecast, becoming the biggest threat, taking the whole of Tianyu to war with me. The emperor's teeth grinding echoed out and Zhu Chengfeng sighed. Oh, Your Majesty, it is both of our mistakes. We each wanted to use Zhuo Fan and throw Tianyu in even more chaos for our own benefit. I for the chance at rebellion and Your Majesty to cleanse it of all other factions. But at the end of it all, I fell for Your Majesty's scheme, and now the kid has gotten all those factions your majesty wanted gone. Ha ha ha, a pawn turning into a player, taking advantage of others. Your majesty, he just cooked your goose. Shut your yap, the emperor bit back in anger. I am the son of heaven, I cannot, will not lose. Cough. After a harsh coughing fit, he looked to see the handkerchief stained in blood. The emperor hid it in his chest and stormed out. Zhuo Chengfeng, watch closely. The final winner shall be me. Zhuo Fan will die beyond any shadow of a doubt. Ha ha ha, show me, just whose hands will these lands fall into? Zhuo Chengfeng replied. Yu Ming smiled and went after the emperor. The jail had regained tranquility, with water dripping to Zhuo Chengfeng's humming. Thump, the emperor burst into the imperial study and sat down. Guard. Yes, your majesty, someone was already bowing. Is Shadow King back yet? No, your majesty. At this critical juncture he isn't back. Just what is he doing? The emperor slapped the table. Report. A soldier fell to his knee. Your majesty, Sir Shadow King requests an audience. Quanrong's high commander and his generals await outside the palace as well. Send them in, the emperor rushed. Shadow King brought with him the echelons of Quanrong army. Taoba Lioner and Chuoba Liufeng heard of their father's arrival and were now together with him, along with the 8 wolf wardens and the imperial tutor. All of them were here before the emperor. Greetings, your majesty, Chuoba Taishan hinted at a bow, while others offered a full one. The emperor smiled. Commander, your reputation precedes your name. Now that I see you, it doesn't do you justice, ha ha ha. The emperor went to the heart of things. Commander, how did it go at your end? Is it done? Everyone looked hopefully at Chuoba Taishan. It was about the fight between him and Dugu Zhanshan. Everyone wished to know the result. Blushing, Chuoba Taishan hesitated. Shadow King took charge with a sigh. Your majesty, I have taken Dugu Zhanshan down from the shadows. Oh, the emperor interjected and Shadow King continued, but Zhuo Fan showed up just then, becoming Dugu army's new marshal and took the struggling soldiers away. What? The emperor shouted. That punk took Dugu army. It's bad enough with his strength, but now he's even more of a pain. How is it that you didn't stop him, or Dugu army at least? Shadow King sighed. Your majesty is aware of his uncanny skills, and I alone am not a match. But I don't know how. He even got Commander Tauba's beast army to cower. He even took Commander Tauba hostage. Ahihem, Chuoba Taishan interjected. That might very well be the worst humiliation of his life. The children looked astonished. Their undefeated father lost to a boy. Tauba Lioner was worried. Father, did he hurt you? Ha ha ha, he was only acting tough but could do nothing to me. Chuoba Taishan shirked it off. Zha Lahan glared at the other 5 wolves. Is this how you guard the commander, letting the enemy take our leader? What a disgrace. The wolves snorted, with Slaughter Wolf glumly saying, the brat has creepy skills. In that moment of chaos, you'd fare no better, but to a cocky man like you, it will fall on deaf ears, having not clashed with him. Who said I haven't? Ing Bai had him cornered 3-on-1. Yet Bai ended up bedridden for a month. Ahiem, Bai nudged Zha Lahan, though a little late. The 8 wolf wardens looked around and saw familiar looks. Ah, the kid got all our asses handed to us. Their mood hit rock bottom. Coming to Tianyu had given them the worst defeat of their careers. Chuoba Taishan frowned. Your majesty, just what on earth is he? How come we've never heard of someone with such skill? Father, allow me. I've been in Tianyu for months now and had him investigated. Chuoba Liufeng said. Zhuo Fan came from a no-name clan. He was born a servant, and when the clan was on the brink of destruction, became its steward when all that was left of the clan was 2 children and a guard. From then on, he made deals with powerful figures, taking him 10 years to bring that clan from the brink of collapse to what we see today, leading the enemy faction. His Majesty even gave him Best Steward Beneath Heaven title as evidence of his remarkable skills in leading. He knows how to handle his men, taking the house's experts for himself. His allies have complete trust in him, bearing heavy responsibility. Yet even so, everyone respects and fears him. Enemies and friends alike have the same view. Cunning as a weasel, sadistic as a wolf, shifty as a snake, and grand like a dragon. He may show off every chance he gets, but inside is an unscrupulous, twisted mind waiting for the chance to pounce. Correct, the brat has become the biggest thorn in my side, the emperor admitted. Chuoba Taishan said, I knew he was something, but never this much. I need to be even more cautious with him than with Dugu Zhanshan. To that end, I asked Commander Tauba to march on Wingay City, the emperor urged. Chuoba Taishan jerked, but I only just got to the imperial capital, my army. The kid is just too deceitful. In the name of his lord, he is amassing power. I can't denounce him either, not when you've strutted into Tianyu for everyone to see. Any delay will have him at the helm of millions of soldiers. If the Empire's 3 guardian sects get wind of this, our deal will fall through. What? They all gasped at Zhuo Fan's quick reaction. To guarantee a favorable resolution of this war, I'll be sending my divine dragons and Shadow King. Alas, the enemy has its own share of capable experts. The emperor frowned. It's fine, Imperial Tutor spoke at last. 3 experts from the beast taming sect have come as well. No matter how tough the enemy is, it will prove for naught. On the morrow, the clear dew glistening in the sunrise crumbled under the footsteps of a large procession, soldiers marching with discipline to a remote town at the borders. The bloodlust and warmongering blended into a chilly and choking atmosphere, snuffing out nature's tranquility. The predators on the prowl sensed the change and burrowed deeper into their caves, shivering out of fright. We animals don't have any prophetic devices, but we do have our sixth sense. We know today is a bad day to hunt. Fine, we'll just fast in our cribs. As their bellies expressed fierce disapproval, no animal dared to even peek outside, opting to go to bed hungry. Chuoba Liufeng gazed at the distant city. Lord Father, that is Wingay's city. It took us 2 months to meet our main army and travel our 3 million men at full speed. Chuoba Taishan said, "Where are the masters Tianyu's majesty sent to help us break the arrays? Have them inspect the situation." Understood, Chuoba Liufeng bowed. 10 men flew towards Wingay's city, profound heaven experts and 6th grade array masters. There was hardly any array in Tianyu that could stand after their passing. They were soon back with a report though. "Commander, the lands are covered in 500 arrays, 200 3rd grade with plenty of 5th and 6th grade. It will take time and effort to unravel. I just knew it was Zhuo Fan's trick forcing me to fight him here." Chuoba Taishan sighed. Chuoba Liufeng's face fell at the implications. Zhuo Fan is vile and twisted, adhering to the art of war in choosing the right location, right time, and right men. "The drafting is not as important as forcing Father to come here. We have to strike hard and fast. He holds down the city and has a terrain advantage." "That's not all," Chuoba Taishan sighed. "We have the numerical advantage, but he can cower our beasts, thwarting our beast armies. On top of that, he has arrays on his side. Numbers will do us no good here. But the outcome can go either way in this case. This Zhuo Fan has played on his strengths to the utmost and cut ours. I can even venture to say he'll have the battlefield under control from the start and string us along." Chuoba Liufeng was uneasy. Looking at the city, all he saw was a steel bastion. Zhuo Fan is horrifying. "Father, what do we do? Let the array masters do their work for now and then we'll see his reaction." Chuoba Taishan looked at those 10 men. "Break the arrays, hurry." Put on the spot. One of them bowed. "Commander, there are 500 arrays there with some special ones mixed in between. It will take years, decades. That's your problem. Military orders are paramount. Go." Chuoba Taishan barked. The men grew downcast. For God's sake, this amateur only knows how to bark orders. With so many arrays, they'd soon be caught dead instead of breaking them, quite literally. To say nothing of someone coming out and taking their lives. "Quanrong, god of war, my foot, you know nothing of arrays. Since using force is out of the question, you stick us in. Good cover-up, where there's arrays, send in the breakers, is that it?" The men cursed and cursed, but still obeyed. Whoosh, arriving at the edge of Wingay's city, they got to work, hoping to high heavens no one would come out to kill the poor saps. Yet was there ever an array owner who didn't know his stuff was being tampered with? In Luo Clan's hall, discussions of recruitment were ongoing when Zhuo Fan jerked and smiled. "Steward Zhuo, what is it?" grandmother asked. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Just then, a Luo clan disciple rushed in. "Steward Zhuo, 10 old men are outside making signs. I can't make out any of it, but it seems to be cracking the arrays." "Of course they are. You may go, it's fine, just act as usual." Zhuo Fan waved. The man left while the house lords were panicking. Long Yifi said, "Does that mean Chuoba Taishan is here? It's too fast." "We're nowhere near ready." He, so what if it is fast?" Zhuo Fan snickered. "Let's go for a walk, see the fogies hard at work." The others were puzzled. The enemy's at the gates and you're in the mood for a stroll. Then they eased up. With the kid always playing cool, chilling means all is in the bag, so why worry? The men followed Zhuo Fan. They flew above the town and saw the 10 oldies shifting through gestures, faces red and cursing all the while. "Jesus Christ, who the hell set this up? How is a 2nd grade array so damn complicated? And what kind of style is this? I've never seen it before in my life. They must have some array grandmaster to pull such precise arrays. Nothing works at breaking it. Enough chatter and more elbow grease." The oldies grumbled at the task turned impossible, making no headway all this time. These grand 6th grade array masters balked before a 2nd grade array. It was anything but normal. Long Yifi's group nodded up above with even more admiration for Zhuo Fan. "Steward Zhuo's skills are uncanny, vexing those coots to death, ha ha ha." Long Yifi laughed. The others bobbed their heads. Zhuo Fan chuckled. "I may be competent in arrays, but not enough to make a 2nd grade array have the power of a 6th. They can't break it because they don't understand it." Zhuo Fan yelled, trying to break a mere 2nd grade array with gestures. "You're profound heaven experts, for crying out loud. Why not use force? Are you brain dead? Why didn't I think of that?" The 10 men nodded and smiled above. They were curious to see their savior. Though Zhuo Fan's cold smile scared them witless. Zhuo Fan, he has come to kill us, one man wailed, his knees shaking from fear. Zhuo Fan waved, it's fine, keep up the good work. You have all the time in the world, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan chuckled, landing on the town gate stairs. The house lords were stunned, following him. The most shocked were the fogies. One collected his meager courage, old friends, do we continue? Another nodded, and why not? With both sides giving us the go-ahead, we'll do just that, the others exclaimed. Yeah, it's rare enough to have both sides in agreement, so let's just do it. Not doing so might get us a quicker death. The 10 made signs again, but soon opted for Zhuo Fan's idea to force their way through the second-grade arrays. The House Lords turned from them to Zhuo Fan. Steward Zhuo, what's this all about? I'm waiting. For what? The experts to show up. Zhuo Fan snickered. Cultivation isn't charging because of the arrays. He had these 10 bags of bones take a crack at them first. Killing them is within right but shows nervousness, while sparing them raises the suspicion of using the empty city tactic. It's a classic war tactic, blending truth and lies. The odder my reactions, the more confused he will be and less prone to act. But time waits for no one. The longer he waits, the bigger our power in Tianyu grows. He will act, and with experts, in the fastest and hardest way. The House Lords thought, Steward Zhuo has been aiming for those experts from the start. I'm just dying to see what counter the Emperor has now that he knows young Sanzi is with me. Zhuo Fan's eyes were a sucking abyss. Lord Father, just what on earth is Zhuo Fan thinking? Someone's cracking his defenses, yet he just stands there to watch. He's looking down on us. Chuoba Liufeng pointed at the House Lords with an odd look. Chuoba Taishan frowned. Are those arrays real or not? Is he buying time? His actions are baffling and hard to make sense of. Liufeng, come with me to see the elders. Chuoba Taishan spoke. Chuoba Liufeng cried, so soon. Aren't they our trump card? Speed is of the essence in war. Chuoba Taishan walked and Chuoba Liufeng hurried after. The two came upon a tent when they heard a nasty voice. Lioner, you have a wonderful and fine constitution. So young and yet so able in beast taming. 2 years under my tutelage and you'll surpass even me, he. I thank you, Elder Shi, for your kind words, but I can't bear to leave my family, Lioner said with difficulty. Another voice cut her off. Commander Tauba will not stand in the way of Lioner's brilliant future. Chuoba Taishan was outraged. That coot is being fresh with my daughter. Chuoba Liufeng was just as annoyed. But they both bottled the rage as they entered. Commander, young master, the 8 wolf wardens bowed, though just as outraged, while above the main seat were 3 extra-wide chairs occupied by bare-chested men showing their muscles. One man had silky black hair with big eyebrows and big eyes. On his chest was a huge and ferocious tiger. The father and son bowed, Elder Hu. On his right was a bearded elder with narrow eyes and knit brows, yet he let out an eerie green gaze, instilling fear. On his chest was a mangy wolf, Elder Lang. The two bowed again. The last one had a sinister face with a handlebar mustache and vulgar eyes. His hand was caressing Tauba Lioner's soft hand as he showed a content look. On his chest was a viper with savage eyes. The father and son clenched their fists and bowed, Elder Shi. Ha ha ha, Commander Tauba. Elder Shi never drew his hand. Lioner couldn't take hers back even if she wanted to either. He was taking advantage of the commander's daughter in broad daylight. These 3 never cared much about him anyway. Imperial Tutor saw Chuoba Taishan on the brink of exploding. Brother Taishan, have you come to ask the elders to step in? Yes, Chuoba Taishan cupped his hands. Elders, please break the city's arrays and help my army enter Wingay City. The 3 elders snorted. Elder She was still holding that oh so fine hand. Commander Tauba, I thought I told you, we are ethereal stage experts, not your soldiers. Breaking arrays is your job. We're only here to deal with any unforeseen expert that may crop up. The other elders nodded. Pretentious pricks, breaking the defense isn't your duty, but hitting on my little girl is, Chuoba Taishan fumed. The 8 wolf wardens glowered with bloodlust, but the elders had no care in the world. Radiant stage experts could come and score at them and it'd still do nothing. Han Taimo mediated, elders, it involves Tianyu giving us 1/10 of its lands, rich in spirit mines, of interest to beast taming sect. With the arrays in place, Commander Tauba's attacks will be for naught, and the more time passes the worse it will get, leading to defeat. When you return to the sect, it will be hard to explain it. Imperial Tutor, is that a threat? Elder Hu glared. Han Taimo waved, I would never. It is only a conclusion of mine. The longer we take, the more likely it is for Tianyu's 3 guardian sects to hear of this. It will blow the easy credit elders will take into smoke and return empty-handed. Sigh, I just can't bear to see it. The 3 changed expressions at last. It was Elder Hu who nodded. Imperial Tutor, you have a good head on your shoulders. Right then, we better get it over with. Obscene snake, jackal, let's go. We'll have plenty of time for fun when we get Tianyu's land. Elder Hu left. Elder Lang was fast behind while Elder Shi sided his breakup with Lioner's hand. though not forgetting to give Lionel a once-over, filled with unmentionable promises. Lionel, I want you as my disciple, hi hi hi. All three left the tent. Chuoba Taishan shuddered in pure anger. Zha Lahan roared, you call those beast-taming sect elders? They're a joke. Lionel sobbed in silence, with Chuoba Liufeng hugging her. Han Taimo sighed, Brother Taishan, come, you know about conquering cities best. Your experience is needed. The 8 wolf wardens have to come as well. Conquering? How can I ever say that when I am so powerless as a commander of Quanrong to even protect my own daughter? Chuoba Taishan blustered. Han Taimo sighed, there was no way to know they'd send these childish men when we asked the beast-taming sect for help. Huxing Meng, Lang Canbao and Shi Yingxi are the worst allies to have. I heard Yin Shi even has a coupling skill, robbing countless women of their yin. Brother Taishan, danger will come now that he has his eyes on your daughter. I advise you to take her someplace else where he can't find her. Chuoba Taishan looked at Lionel with worry. Lionel was nervous watching him lost. Han Taimo, His Highness the Crown Prince had asked for Lionel last year, if I agree. Chuoba Taishan hesitated. That Yin Shi won't dare make a move on the Crown Prince's woman. Han Taimo nodded, but His Highness is lustful and reckless. There will be no way out from this. At least Lionel will be safe. When a girl's yin will be robbed, her life will go with it. Chuoba Taishan sighed. Lionel was heartbroken, with big tears streaming down her cheek knowing her impossible fate. Moving on to the elders flying to Wingay's city, they showed unprecedented mockery at the 500 arrays shining on the clouds above. He, is this what has made Chuoba Taishan so jittery? Humph a snap from us and it'll be all over. Elder Hu laughed, that old fool must be scared of taking too many losses to send us. Meng Hu, just get on with it already. Elder Lang hurried him on. I'll do it then, since everyone knows arrays beneath 7th grade are pointless, they can't do anything to ethereal stage experts. Breaking these arrays is a cinch. Just as he moved, a voice came. Commander Tauba sent you. It's no use with these strange arrays. You can only do it by force. One old man said, taking them for allies. Zhuo Fan's gang heard him as well. They jerked, noticing the 3 elders. They must be really strong to come so close yet for us to not notice them, grandmother said. Zhuo Fan frowned, the experts are here. Elder Lang snorted at the old men and flicked a blue wind. Zhuo Fan watched as the fogies fell to the ground with empty eyes. Soul destruction and ethereal stage expert, Zhuo Fan shouted. Ethereal stage experts, the House Lords cried. Tianyu had never seen the likes of an ethereal stage expert in its history, not until Li Jingshan, yet finding 3 of them in one place had them all shell-shocked. Zhuo Fan knew this conflict was bound to lead to this. Grandmother, please call Elder Li and the couple, I'll stall them. Steward Zhuo, can't all these arrays stall them? Why must you go yourself? Grandmother asked. A kaboom sound gave the answer. A simple wave of Elder Lang's sleeve made all the impervious arrays crumble. The House Lords were dumbstruck, staring into nothing. The arrays weren't worth even a roadblock to ethereal stage experts. Zhuo Fan was sweating. Does that answer you? There's a saying, beneath 7th grade, everything is ethereal. No array under the 7th grade can hold back an ethereal stage expert. The House Lords stared dully at Zhuo Fan, their minds still catching up to reality. What are you looking at me for? Go get the elders. Zhuo Fan barked and they shot for Blackwind Mountain. Against ethereal stage experts, Li Jingshan was the only one who could fight them. Elder Lang mocked them, 3 profound heaven ants trying to crawl away. Think again. He flicked again just as Zhuo Fan blocked him. Elder Lang was taken aback for a second there, as were the others. The only profound heaven cultivators they saw were the kind to flee at their sight. This sole exception had them lost. Elder Lang faltered mid-attack. Chuoba Taishan was coming over, leading his army with the fall of the arrays when he stumbled upon the scene. They were just as dumbstruck. That's Zhuo Fan. What's this new marshal doing, stopping the old guys looking to die? Zha Lahan blurted. It was the unanimous reaction on everyone's faces. Only the veteran Chuoba Taishan had a bad feeling from his honed instincts through decades of bloodshed. Kid, do you have any idea who we are? Elder Lang snorted. Zhuo Fan mocked. How should I know? You didn't tell me. And not to forget, who do you think you are to have the gall to destroy my 500 arrays? Ha ha ha, only an ignorant fool would block me. Elder Lang cackled. Zha Lahan was baffled. Wasn't this guy always clever? Even without knowing how to identify an ethereal stage expert from the crowd, that demonstration is obvious enough to make a difference. He should be running right about now. The others thought Zhuo Fan an idiot as well. Only a handful, Chuoba Taishan included, sensed something odd. Then perk up your ignorant ears, fool, we are ethereal stage experts. Elder Lang stuck out his chin with boundless confidence. By his reckoning, the kid should now be soiling his pants and wailing in horror. After all, ethereal stage was the peak of power in the Western lands, and he, with his wolfish temper, just loved to toy with his food. First drive fear into their hearts, then hunt them down in the cruelest way imaginable. Zhuo Fan wouldn't play ball, though. The only look on his face was a long one. Ethereal stage expert. What's that? I've only heard radiant stage expert as the strongest. Tianyu only has radiant stage experts also. My life's goal has always been to reach it and become the best in the world. Ugh, Elder Lang felt like talking to a wall. This kid's ignorance is mind-blowing, taking radiant stage as the peak of cultivation. Which clan is he from? How sad that they know so little of the world. His plan to act the blowhard went down the drain now that the audience was too dumb to acknowledge his greatness. Elder Lang clenched his fist to get rid of this eyesore, and yet he just couldn't have the fool die without knowing his swag. That would be immoral. And so the fiend in him doubled down on giving him the ins and outs of ethereal stage with utmost patience. Kid, ethereal stage is a level beyond the radiant stage. Even 100 radiant stage experts can't beat a single one. Oh, so that's how it is. That makes you awesomer than radiant stage experts. Zhuo Fan bobbed his head, enlightened. Elder Lang chuckled with pride. Now that he knows to recognize greatness, next should be fear. Once he runs, we'll hunt him down. Hi. Zhuo Fan had no such intention, though, ever calm and ever baffling. Boy, don't you know our greatness? Elder Lang blinked. Zhuo Fan nodded. Of course, you're ethereal stage experts, able to beat 100 radiant stage experts. No, you already said that. Don't tell me you forgot. Is senility setting in already? Elder Lang choked on his words and exploded. Why aren't you running scared? Where's the horror, the panic? Why are your pants dry still? Because, looking back to see the house lords gone, Zhuo Fan snickered. Because I can't let you pass. Say what? The trio cried. When a radiant stage expert goes ethereal, his soul achieves enlightenment, free of the world's bindings, crushing anything beneath 7th grade. Zhuo Fan shook his head, his tone sarcastic. I knew the instant you broke my arrays how strong you were. I was only faking it, play pretend, act the fool to yank your chain. How else would those old buddies of mine make a run for it? What a stroke of dumb luck that I got stuck with you 3 morons to play 20 questions with. PFF. Lioner giggled and the others chortled. The old ones were their helpers, but they didn't win Tauba Army's respect in the least. It sure livened them up seeing them toyed by a child. Chuoba Taishan nodded. Old Dugu made the right choice, brave and shrewd, honorable and noble. He is the best choice to be Dugu Army's marshal. And yet, Chuoba Taishan frowned. Rotten piece of scat. You dare to play me? Elder Lang blustered, slapping. A vile air gathered around his hand and that simple palm turned into a savage wolf entering Zhuo Fan. With a fierce headache, his soul felt gnawed at, his mind fading. It was a perk of reaching the ethereal stage, soul destruction. Radiant stage could launch soul attacks, while ethereal stage took it one step further, making it materialize and even turn into a spirit. Take Elder Lang for example, his soul turned into that of a wolf. It would enter the target and feast on his soul. Bam! Zhuo Fan slammed into the city wall and got buried under the rubble. Elder Lang wrote him off, turning away. A puny profound heaven ant dares toy with us. Ahihem, he only played you. We've got nothing to do with it. Fierce tiger excused himself. Obscene snake nodded. With how an ethereal stage expert was duped by a profound heaven pup, he'd have no honor left to face the world. The best way out of it was to get that lame wolf to be the patsy. Elder Lang was speechless, realizing how honorless they were, like you saw through the kid's act of stalling. But weren't we all taken in? You're no better? How childish. Alas, this shall be the 2nd time in my long life that I shall mourn over the death of my adversary. Chuoba Taishan sighed. First was old Dugu. And when I thought of Zhuo Fan to be my next adversary, he would meet his end before we could even test ourselves. Heroes always die young. This victory brings me no joy. The others nodded. Even as their enemy, Zhuo Fan had earned their respect. Tauba Lioner sighed, recalling their fond first encounter and was touched by sadness. He did save me once, I guess. The rubble lit up with a flash of azure. How could this be? Elder Lang stared at the rubble with palpable shock. Why do I still sense life force from it? Did he survive? The other elders mimicked his shock. Boom! Zhuo Fan unfolded his wings and shot into the sky. He had an azure flame hovering on his forehead. How the hell did he survive Elder Lang's strike? Zha Lahan was in denial. An ethereal stage expert using soul destruction on a profound heaven cultivator was tantamount to squashing a bug, an overkill. Yet to survive such a devastating blow, Zhuo Fan had garnered everyone's odd looks. Even those elders considered him a freak. Huff gasping, Zhuo Fan bled from his mouth, though the azure flame grew in intensity. Reaching out to feel the heat, Zhuo Fan rejoiced. The azure flame was his sole guardian. Elder Lang squinted and said, Fierce tiger, something is seriously off about him. He took my palm, yet all he got was a flesh wound. It just doesn't make sense. Elder Hu ventured. He must have a soul spiritual weapon or a demonic treasure. That's the only explanation. A A fire burned in Elder Hu and Elder Shi's eyes, their looks full of greed. Soul treasures were as scarce as hen's teeth, even for ethereal stage experts. Elder Hu had lost his bloodlust, now turned into lust for wealth. Zhuo Fan, reading them like an open book, made a stealthy sign. Heaven-cracking howl, Elder Lang cut right to the chase, unleashing a huge wolf image around him that pounced at Zhuo Fan as he shot forward with his palm. He unleashed all his soul power with a soul martial art. Such overkill was unheard of, an ethereal stage expert using a martial art on a tiny, profound heaven cultivator. It went to show that Elder Lang cared for nothing but to kill his quarry outright, even foregoing his status, to get his hands on that treasure as soon as possible. All the treasures in the world wouldn't protect Zhuo Fan this time, giving him a one-way trip down under. Elder Hu and Elder Shi snorted. Chuobataishan's side's mood was heavy, with Lioner even showing worry. Zhuo Fan's sign completed as he shouted. Wraith Style's third move, modified Necro Dragon's Screech, Kun Phoenix Lightning. Shriek, a resounding cry, announced the appearance of an odd and humongous bird. Covered in azure flames and with purple lightning streaking its body, it got even the space to warp. Zhuo Fan used the traits of two sacred beasts in unleashing this new move, specialized in souls. The azure flame was a gem in refining the soul, while the purple lightning was its opposite, rampant and savage in its deadly destructive power. Zhuo Fan was confident his move could help him hold his own against an ethereal stage expert. What is that thing? Elder Lang shuddered. Whoosh, the odd bird shot straight for the wolf before he could react. Bam, on impact the bird scattered and Zhuo Fan spat blood. He got a killer headache while the azure flame burned hotter. Yet the scattering motes of azure stuck to the wolf, making it howl in agony. Purple lightning shot like a snake through it, punching hundreds of holes and pulverizing the rest. Elder Lang was trembling, gawking at the impossible made possible as blood seeped from his mouth. Then came a world of hurt, a searing pain lacing through his head. Jackal, his friends turned from him to the weakened Zhuo Fan, having lost their contempt. A profound heaven cultivator and an ethereal stage expert went head-to-head. The result, the ethereal stage expert was badly wounded. It was unprecedented. No matter the soul martial art used, nothing could have bridged the abyss between them. It made no sense at all. The elders were floored and Chuobataishan's side was dumbstruck. They had written Zhuo Fan off in the last strike, but the cunning kid not only fought Elder Lang back, but gave him a blow he wouldn't soon forget. Their eyes held unspeakable horror when watching this abomination. Is he even a bloody human? Zhuo Fan took a deep breath, his face pale and hands shaking. He had one-upped Elder Lang good with that move, but there was no denying it, their gap was just too huge. He took that soul destruction martial art and lived, but he was in an even sorrier state, about to break. A casual strike would kill him at this point. He was in the worst danger of his life. Elder Lang bore through the soul pain, and despite the soul scarring he went through, it paled compared to Zhuo Fan's precarious state. But it carried a far heavier weight, the greatest humiliation of his life. Rotten punk, I'll kill you. Elder Lang spat through clenched teeth, stomping towards him. Each step shook the earth. Elder Hu reminded Jackal he's on his last leg. Another soul attack will finish him. I know that, but I won't give him the satisfaction of a quick death. Elder Lang flicked and a blue wind shot for Zhuo Fan. The incoming storm howled like countless beasts. It went beyond mere wind, but became a horde of thumb-sized wolves, clawing for their prey. Profound ranked martial art, devouring wolf pack. I will tear your soul one mote at a time to let you taste unspeakable torture, Elder Lang roared. Lioner covered her mouth, tearing up, the rest lamented. Zhuo Fan is an unrivaled warrior of his generation. Instead of respect, he is met with a cruel death. Zhuo Fan shook, his mind going a mile a minute. Maybe shift will work, but the soul attack didn't give him any room to wiggle. It was then that a shout came. Soaring demonic dragon, roar. With a rumble, a black dragon appeared around Zhuo Fan, whipping the wolf storm away. Elder Lang stepped back, watching the imposing man shielding Zhuo Fan and oozing black energy. Elder Lei, took you long enough, Zhuo Fan grinned. Steward Zhuo, forgive the delay. Li Jingshan saw his weakened state and turned his bloodshot eyes at Elder Lang. Did you hurt Steward Zhuo? I'll tear you to pieces. Li Jingshan shouted. Elder Lang mocked. You're fresh into the ethereal stage. You've barely focused your soul to be able to take that tone with me, you blowhard. The only reason you pushed me back is because I'm wounded. Be a good boy and scram. It'd be a pity for a stray attack to end you. It'll make reaching ethereal stage a waste. Ha ha ha, Elder Li, see that. They're in the ethereal stage, yet their brains on the fritz, especially that white beard with his wolf soul. He takes the cake. Here we are at war, and the imbecile spills the beans on his condition. He has more value as an enemy than an ally. Zhuo Fan was full of contempt. Elder Hu and Elder Shi glared at Elder Lang. They had to admit the kid is friggin' right. PFF. Lioner giggled again while the rest smiled and nodded. In this precarious moment, Zhuo Fan keeps his cool like a true marshal and hero. Only Elder Lang's face grew hotter with every jab about to pop. "Punkass brat, I'll cut you from stem to stern," Elder Lang spat, but Elder Hu held him back. "Jackal, you're wounded, let me handle it." Elder Hu exploded with power, enveloped by a tiger image. His mighty and imposing figure made it hard for even the wounded Zhuo Fan to breathe. Third layer of ethereal stage is no pushover. I can feel it even from behind Elder Li. Li Jingshan tensed, face hard but eyes raging, typical martial fanatic stuff. "Ha ha ha, right on time." Li Jingshan stepped up, surrounded by a black dragon. Its aura wasn't on par with the tiger but didn't lose much either. Fierce Tiger grumbled, "What the hell is wrong with this place? They're all freaks of nature. I have 2 layers on him and should hold the advantage. Yet this advantage is barely visible. There's no way he's 2 layers under me." Elder Hu looked on with suspicion. How was he to know Li Jingshan was a martial fanatic through and through? When the going got tough, he got more going. Besides, he had the heaven-reaching pill on his side, with Yuan Qi surging like a sea. He wielded the power to jump layers from first to third. Bam! The dragon and tiger clashed, shuddering the space around them. With both of them stepping back from the clash, 5 steps on Elder Hu's corner and 10 on Li Jingshan's. Though the most shocked were Fierce Tiger and his gang, their eyes popping out. A fresh ethereal stage cultivator just stood up to a seasoned 3rd layer one. For crying out loud, what do they feed these guys? First was the profound heaven prick, and now this. Is this a worldly sect or what? How are they all talents? The trio was speechless. Fierce Tiger grumbled but still wouldn't accept it, rushing with another tiger at Li Jingshan. "I refuse to frickin' believe the great me can't handle an ethereal stage newbie." Li Jingshan obliged Fierce Tiger with another black dragon. The same thing happened, but this time Li Jingshan fell only 7 steps back. Fierce Tiger was even more annoyed. Li Jingshan was growing as he fought. His 2 other elders watched shell-shocked. Is Wingay's city a den of fiends? Not one of them is human. Again, Li Jingshan was perky, going for another strike. Fierce Tiger shuddered but had to meet him. Black Dragon and Tiger tackled each other till the sky turned dark and the earth rumbled, meeting at every turn with no one having the advantage. Soul waves filled the sky, causing even the jackal and obscene snake to grumble. Weren't they claiming there was no ethereal stage expert in Tianyu? We came here for a stroll, killing the enemy left and right. Yet an ethereal stage cultivator had just shown up to stand up to Fierce Tiger, and stand up he did. "Intelligence," said Tianyu, "is a small fry. Wait till I get my hands on them." At least the situation wasn't completely out of control, since they had the numbers advantage. Jackal swiveled his insidious eyes on Zhuo Fan. "He, wounded whelp, you've lost your shield. Be good and drop dead." Jackal sent blue howling winds with bared fangs and maws. Zhuo Fan stood still out of lack of strength, if nothing else. Li Jingshan had no way to help, not when tangled with Fierce Tiger. It was then that a couple shouted, "Fire and water combine, life and death art," who a white and blinding ray shined through the clouds, running over Elder Lang's attack and going for him. The elder defended with his hand, but the white ray was a fusion of blazing heat and icy water, turning it into an unstoppable force, driving pain into the depths of his soul. He clenched and the ray scattered into motes, yet his face switched between burning hot and ice cold, shuddering all the while. "Jackal, are you all right?" Obscene Snake cried. Elder Lang gnashed his teeth, shaking off the ice and scorching heat, but not the killer headache. He found 2 people shielding Zhuo Fan, the power couple Qiu Yanhai and Zhu Qingjian. "For God's sake, this place is a freak show. How can 2 peak radiant stage experts hurt me?" Gasping, Elder Lang spat. "They are close to the ethereal stage, but they haven't given their soul form and can't use soul destruction. That strike is only a pseudo-ethereal stage's attack at best. I'll wipe the floor with these ignorant fools." "Hold on," Obscene Snake called, his lustful eyes roaming over Zhu Qingjian's exquisite form and gulping. "Leave the 2, especially the woman, to me, he. Jackal knew his sick hobby had reared its ugly head and nodded. Qiu Yanhai saw he was after his old gal with those foul eyes and roared, "Biddy, let's take that old coot down together." Hi, why, jealous much?" Zhu Qingjian giggled with love. Qiu Yanhai felt like spitting fire from rage. Zhuo Fan reminded, "Elder Qiu, Sister Zhu, he's in the 2nd layer of ethereal stage. It will be hard even if you are together." "Steward Zhu, we got this," Qiu Yanhai snorted. Zhu Qingjian beamed, "My old codger is just that feisty. Not even I can hold him back." Zhuo Fan glanced at Obscene Snake. "Sister Zhu, lend me your ear." Zhu Qingjian was dazed for a moment and nodded at his message before flying after Qiu Yanhai. Obscene Snake laughed when the couple came, just what he wanted. Elder Lang saw that Zhuo Fan was by himself at long last and grinned. Though Zhuo Fan snickered, "You crusty old coot, haven't you had enough? Bring it if you're so confident that I'm alone." You've gotten hurt thrice now, so let's see how many hits can a second layer of ethereal stage expert take. Jackal frowned. Thinking back, all his wounds came from taking his enemy lightly. First at Zhuo Fan's hand, second at Li Jingshan coming to the kid's rescue whipping him away, and third by the power couple. Each of these beatdowns wasn't much by itself, but they compounded. Sooner or later he'd have so many, his soul would be damaged, making it dangerous. This would never have happened if they all came at him from the front and open. I just had to be careless. Jackal scanned his surroundings, showing utmost caution to not fall for any more cons. Zhuo Fan smiled, figuring him out. Say, who do you think will win, my side or yours? Your new ethereal stage cultivator looks tough, but there's no way he can stand up to fierce tiger in the third layer. It's only a matter of time. As for the other two, they're just at peak radiant stage. They may attack with ethereal stage power when united, but are no way up to obscene snake's second layer's standard. Jackal mocked. Zhuo Fan nodded. That makes it easy then. I'm barely hanging on and you're waiting for their outcome. When you'll have them taken care of by your flanks, getting me should be easy peasy, no? True. I must say, the kid is only in profound heaven stage and wounded to boot, yet makes a whole lot of sense. He won't go anywhere, and when his buddies have finished their matches, he'd have no problem taking the punk out, tormenting and running him through a hell only his twisted mind could conceive. Jackal nodded and took on the air of a true expert. Chuoba Taishan shook his head. Elder Lang's brain must be missing something to get stiff again. How? Chuoba Liufeng asked. Chuoba Taishan explained, stalling. I don't know what the kid's game is, but one thing is certain, he's buying time for something. Liufeng, whenever you encounter a situation like this, you don't chat your enemy up and be firm in your decision. Fear is the mind killer. Chuoba Liufeng nodded. Should we tell him? Absolutely not. Chuoba Taishan and Han Taimo spoke in tandem and then burst out laughing. The others were clueless to the inside joke. From what they saw, the commander and imperial tutor were worried Chuoba Liufeng might spill the beans. All of them grumbled at the old foxes. Han Taimo said, Liufeng, what do you suppose will happen by going to Elder Lang and telling him he's stupid to his face? I'll be ground to a pulp, Chuoba Liufeng said, puzzled. Han Taimo added, and that's the truth of it. The elders are selfish, rash, and on a high horse. Reminding them that they've been fooled again is the same as calling them dim-witted. They'll see the light all right, but only after taking your life. That being said, Zhuo Fan's one smooth talker, prepping Elder Lang in just a few short words to attack you if you ever try ruining his plan. Chuoba Liufeng was soaked in sweat, bowing many times in thanks. Chuoba Taishan said, these three are foul men. They may be our helpers, but one should stay as far away as possible from them. The worse they are, the better. Just look at Zhuo Fan making them suffer at every turn. Our great commander wants Zhuo Fan to take these foul bastards down a peg. They all sported a sneaky smile, like first-row seaters to a great show. They were even rooting for Zhuo Fan. Marshal Zhuo, hold nothing back, don't even show us respect. Waste 'em, hee. Han Taimo shook his head at their stance. Anyways, back to the fight. The power couple versus Elder Shi was in progress. Qiu Yanhai and Zhu Qingjian touched palms as they used the life and death art, gathering an incredible power in between. Not that Elder Shi had a mind to care, getting hot and bothered over Zhu Qingjian's body, even wiggling his eyebrows. Zhu Qingjian batted her eyes in reply. Qiu Yanhai was outraged, and with a swing of his arm, he shot the soul power attack. The white light warped the air as it shot for obscene snake's chest. Elder Shi was still grinning, surrounded now by snake images woven into a net. PFF, the white light stopped dead in its tracks and its power faded. It thinned down from a bolthic width all the way to that of a spear. Qiu Yanhai saw the snakes sucking on his ray. Hee, foolish juniors, peak radiant stage is worlds below ethereal stage. You use soul power while ethereal stage can use their very soul. It's beyond your comprehension. Surrender if you know what's good for you. Obscene snake laughed and resumed leering at Zhu Qingjian's perfect form. Especially you, my pretty, I'd hate to kill you. You'd make a much finer contribution as my disciple. What do you say? You dirty old man, she's my hag, so don't waste your friggin' breath, Qiu Yanhai blustered. Elder Shi waved a python at him. It coiled around him and opened its maw and spat miasma. Qiu Yanhai's eyes grew hazy, making him lethargic. His mind started drifting. Old codger, Zhu Qingjian shouted. Obscene snake snickered. Dearie, your old man is fine. But since my soul is the king python, now that he's poisoned, it will rot his soul to death. No one can save him. No, Zhu Qingjian panicked. Obscene snake curled his finger at her. I can spare him, sure, but you have to become mine. So what do you say to coming over? Zhu Qingjian saw Qiu Yanhai in the clutches of the python inside, walking over to that wretched obscene snake. Jackal laughed. One battle we've already won. When Fierce Tiger finishes that old guy, I will deal with you. I'll give you a taste of living hell, ha. Zhuo Fan opted for silence, his eyes focused on Zhu Qingjian. Come, my pretty, hi, hi, hi. As she got close, Obscene Snake yanked her into his embrace. Zhu Qingjian struggled to shake him off to no avail. Her eyes darted around, her voice soft and soothing, be gentle. You're hurting me, bag of dead bones, let my hag go. Qiu Yanhai should have been put under from the python's poison. Obscene Snake gave him a taunting look, turning back to his prey. My pretty, I'll let you go, but don't go anywhere. Where can I go? I'll always be with you, ha ha ha. Zhu Qingjian giggled. Obscene Snake let go of her and Zhu Qingjian's eyes turned cold, striking his chest. Obscene Snake easily held her palm, grabbing Zhu Qingjian tighter. Ha ha ha, I just knew you're sassy, I like you. Plenty of sassy girls have wanted to kill me or kill themselves, but all of them ended up in my hands. You're no different. Go to hell, Zhu Qingjian lashed. That only got Obscene Snake more excited. My pretty, the feistier you are, the more you turn me on. Now give me a big kiss. Obscene Snake puckered his lips, closing in on Zhu Qingjian's pristine face. Stop, pervert, Qiu Yanhai roared, still trapped. Obscene Snake's lips did touch a face, but when he looked at that face, the sight scared him to death. What are you doing here? Obscene Snake, hugging Zhuo Fan, felt like taking a bite out of something foul and rotten. Elder Lang was dumbstruck, finding Zhu Qingjian in Zhuo Fan's place. Old coot, how do you like my eyes? Are they nice? Zhuo Fan cooed. Obscene Snake was all shaken up to the point of parting with his lunch. I'm here to kiss a hottie, not a guy, and you're asking me about your eyes. Shove off, Zhuo Fan was glued to him before Obscene Snake could shake him off. Zhuo Fan grabbed his head and stared into his eyes in a touching moment. Hey, are little old me's eyes pretty? You damn pervert, you like playing around, is it? See how I'll knock you dead, Obscene Snake roared, his rage breaking the vault of heaven as if Zhuo Fan had killed his mama and then asked him if he liked it. Zhuo Fan stuck to him like a koala, his eyes flashing golden. They are pretty, you know, look closer. Look at your, Obscene Snake's head simply vanished. It was all part of Zhuo Fan's clever ploy. Zhu Qingjian was the honeypot, then they'd use the old switcheroo to catch him on the wrong foot or with the wrong beauty. All that was left was for Zhuo Fan to use that eye of his, void annihilation, and deprive the old man of the useless decoration on his shoulders. Blood spurted like a fountain, and his body hit dirt. Obscene Snake, Elder Lang cried. Chuoba Taishan's side was just as stunned. They knew Zhuo Fan was up to no good, but they had failed to grasp how high Zhuo Fan would shoot. A profound heaven cultivator taking down an ethereal stage expert's head. He first neutralized Elder Lang with words while aiming for Elder Shi. Zhuo Fan is insidious, Chuoba Taishan gasped. The others were on the same page about that. Tauba Lioner was dazed, looking at the slumping corpse as her heart gave an odd thump. Zhuo Fan jumped away and shouted, Elder Lei, they're enraged. Flee, Li Jingshan's ears twitched and he broke away. While chasing them, Fierce Tiger sensed danger from the spatial fluctuations and dodged. He saw Zhuo Fan's right eye's 2 golden rings. Whoosh. Li Jingshan grabbed Zhuo Fan and flew away. With Obscene Snake losing his head, the python around Qiu Yanhai faded away. He rejoined Zhu Qingjian and they were right behind Li Jingshan. Fierce Tiger went over to Obscene Snake's body, then glared at Jackal. What the hell happened? How did they get his head? Elder Lang was still shaken up, stomping. How should I know? 1 second he was here in front of me, and then the next second the punk was in Obscene Snake's arms, taking his head. He was dead before I even saw it. He got what he deserved, looking down on his enemy and going mad with lust. I've told him time and time again, lust ain't all fun and games. This is the result. Enough of your useless advice. It's all your fault for not having a hold on the brat. With a bellow, Obscene Snake's corpse flopped around and a brown python came out of it. It had cruel eyes, always hissing and equipped with a pair of poisonous fangs ready to tear its prey. That rotten bastard ruined my body. I will tear his soul and take his body as revenge. The python raved, its tail lashing everywhere. Elder Hu and Jackal shrugged, then watched Zhuo Fan go, Old Lang, should we help Obscene Snake get a new body? Of course, even without that damn snake's issue, I'd still tear the punk limb from limb. Elder Lang gnashed his teeth. Obscene Snake's body flopped some more, his voice howling, What are you waiting for? Get him. Without a body, I'm losing 1/10 of my strength every quarter of an hour. I need to get him fast. Why not just pick anyone? Get yourself a body first and then we'll go. Fierce Tiger proposed. But Obscene Snake shook his huge head in anger. Screw that, the kid ruined my body and it'll be his body that I'll have. Anything short will make me a laughing stock back at the sect. Like you aren't already a laughing stock. A grand ethereal stage expert got his head popped by a profound heaven pup is the joke of the millennium. Getting revenge won't ever change that. This damn snake is the shame of our beast taming sect. Fierce Tiger and Jackal snickered inside, but as fellow sect members, letting the enemy just waltz away would throw them in the same boat. Without further ado, they chased, be it for the glory of their sect or for personal vendetta, they went after the devilish Zhuo Fan. 2 men and 1 snake's soul flew away. Chuoba Taishan grew heavy. These elders have been duped again. It's a lure from Zhuo Fan's movements. It's clear that this was premeditated. From the start, he has targeted our aces, getting them out of the picture before letting the armies fight. But they're weaker in that regard, Chuoba Liufeng said. Chuoba Taishan spoke with wisdom. The lesser of two evils, their army may be on the disadvantage, but it is far better than letting the ethereal stage experts turn the battlefield into a killing field. That is to say, Zhuo Fan has even more plans. Chuoba Taishan drifted off with a frown. Han Taimo exclaimed, Brother Taishan, you mean Zhuo Fan is not only luring them but also going to trap them? Correct, to trap the elders they have to be lured first. I fear that their fate is already sealed. Chuoba Taishan sighed, they say not to push a cornered enemy. Yet these elders, but they're all in the ethereal stage, with anything beneath a 7th grade array turned moot. What kind of snare could hold them? Chuoba Liufeng asked. Chuoba Taishan shook his head. Zhuo Fan exceeds all expectations with his countless tricks. Did any of us imagine he'd be ruining Elder Shi's body? Everyone faltered, recalling Elder Shi turning into a snake and his rage. Zhuo Fan was outstanding in his skills and devices. Anything was possible with him around. Lord Father, what do we do? Help them. No, Chuoba Taishan shot him down. Better finish this war fast. Zhuo Fan wants to end our experts, then deal with us. Before he comes back, we will throw everything we have into Wingei's city. He will deal with the elders, but I will take the city. It will be our victory. All-out assault. Capture Wingei's city. Chuoba Taishan barked orders and his generals bowed, yes, commander. Within 15 minutes, the Quanrong army was in formation, moving like a black swarm towards Wingei's city. The 8 wolf wardens led their divisions to lay a powerful siege. The 4 tigers of Tianyu turned to the million men behind them and sighed. 600,000 of them were veterans of Dugu army, while the rest were draftees, no different from a rabble. The odds were way stacked against them, yet they showed no concern, not when everything went according to a certain plan. Just like Marshall said, Chuoba Taishan is out to end it fast. The 8 wolf wardens are all sent into battle too, an all-out assault. Dugu Feng smiled. Dugu Lin nodded and turned to the grumbling Dugu Huo. Since we'll be the bait, not worthy of our skills, third brother sure is sour, ha ha ha. When has it ever been like this? We're about to go to war with the enemy commander, yet we can't even take a swing. Marshall is so unfair. Dugu Huo huffed and stomped. Dugu Feng stated, true, it's not like Marshall is old 5th steward for nothing. He has to make him look good. Besides, if there's one team that can cut through the enemy like butter, it's that creepy division. With our men, we won't even get past the wardens. Just the mention of their 5th brother had Dugu Huo whining again. Each soldier should be placed according to their skills. Giving me that division would allow it to reach its true potential, unlike under 5th. Can't Marshall see this simple truth? Dad isn't blind, he just doesn't care about you. Gu Santong chomped out an ingredient to the sideboard. Dad is a nepotist. Who are you to him that he would just give you those hard, refined war puppets? Dugu Huo didn't take it well. Gu Santong, are you any different? You're his son, tough and strong. So why is it that he chose the elders over you in dealing with those ethereal stage experts? Because you're that much of a burden. Dad asked me to look after you. Never to leave you out of my sight, afraid that you worthless generals need babysitting. That's why I'm stuck here instead of wasting that friggin' old foggy who messed with Dad. Gu Santong fumed. Dugu Feng intervened before Dugu Huo blew a gasket. Now, we're all on the same side following Marshall's orders. Moreover, Gu Santong is right. The enemy is sending specialists after our heads. Take a look. The others followed Dugu Feng's finger and found a fleeting black mist among the Quanrong army. Shadow guards. With the shadow guard so close, the others mustn't be far behind. Dugu Feng stood up and shouted, prepare for battle, Sir Gu Santong, please provide assistance. Gu Santong nodded, munching on his herb. That's what Dad told me anyway. Dugu Feng turned stern and the 4 brothers led their divisions out of the city. This imbalanced battle made even these seasoned tigers feel the pressure. Chuoba Liufeng was acting as the stand-in commander, directing the wolf wardens when he noticed the million men and tigers coming out. It made no sense for them to abandon the advantage of the walls, even without arrays, and opt for a frontal assault. He understood their plans soon enough. Only outside the city walls would the army of 4 tigers be able to gather to form a wedge and strike into the heart of his camp. Zhuo Fan is cocky, throwing everything in a single risky move. We aren't good with soldier formations, but we have the spiritual beasts to give you a world of hurt. Chuoba Liufeng ordered, Steel Arm Wolf and Ironback Wolf move in front to block them. Howling Wind Wolf and Blood Shadow Wolf will punch through behind the 2. Throw this battle into chaos once Tianyu's imperial family's support breaks their formation. Understood, the messenger left. The fanned-out wolves changed formation. Ironback Wolf and Steel Arm Wolf's divisions combined, forming a wall in front of Chuoba Liufeng. Du Gufeng laughed. Give your all, charge. With their numbers short, their best bet was to finish this battle quickly. They had to brave the danger of a trap to get to the commander and hold him hostage. Roar, the fearless shouts of soldiers shook the sky. At the same time, hundreds of black trails flitted over with eerie movements. They entered their formation and mowed down these men with their black blades. Their barely formed formation collapsed in an instant. Way above them, Sima Hui bombed them with chess pieces. They whistled through the air and left behind craters and mournful cries. Thousands fell with every strike. Howling Wind Wolf and Blood Shadow Wolf, who were on standby, laughed with glee. Without Dugu Jianshan, they're nothing. Look how easily their formation fell. The invincible army will fall even without our help. Howling Wind Wolf laughed. Blood Shadow Wolf snickered. That Marshal Zhu's mind is only filled with machinations, yet is lacking in the military department, ha ha ha. When it comes to wars, what's important is to use your full strength in a clash. Getting tangled up with court politics and cloak and daggers every day makes you weak in directing soldiers. No matter how shrewd he is, Dugu army will die in his hands. Only Chuoba Liufeng knew just how intricate Zhuo Fan's thinking was, so much so that he felt it was all going too easy here. Strange, was Dugu army ever this weak? They're not up to par with the average Quanrong soldiers. With a reverberating shout, a red flash landed on the battlefield, a 7-year-old kid. Sima Hui shook all over and even dropped his readied pieces. Senile old man, rather than play chess all day back at the capital, you've come here to fight. Gu Santong shone red as he punched at the sky. The space warped. Sima Hui felt his vision swim as the relentless force slammed into him. Sima Hui didn't even have the time to make a peep. All he could do was bring out his Yuan Qi. Bam. The ringing explosion made Sima Hui spill blood, his clothes a mess as he barreled through the air, bleeding from every inch of his body. Invincible scamp Gu Santong's punch was that of a monster. Not even the monochrome chess sage could take a hit. Snorting, Gu Santong grinned, turning to the shadow guards. With his uncanny speed, he punched every one of them into a pulp, even if they weren't exactly human. The power of that cutesy fist warped the space so much that he didn't even need soul power to finish the job. And now that he had vaulting Kun Peng as his guide, he used that ridiculous strength to its utmost potential. The shadow guards didn't stand a chance. Gu Santong ran to and fro, nailing shadows at every corner. When Gu Santong touched down, his tiny fist was soaked in blood, his sharp eyes staring down Ironback Wolf and Steel Arm Wolf's divisions. Du Gufeng shouted, "The bastards are dead, attack!" Roar. His brothers gathered over, leading 600,000 men to form a new formation. Unlike before, these soldiers were of different metal, hardened and tough. They were the remnants of Dugu army. Charge, Du Gufeng shouted. With the tigers in the lead, the army's Yuan Qi fused. The soldiers formed a sharp blade that could cut any shield. Ironback Wolf and Steel Arm Wolf jerked, finding this formation a much worse enemy than the previous larger one they had formed. "This is Dugu army. The previous one was bait," Chuoba Liufeng shouted. Dugu army was right on top of the two enemy divisions when Gu Santong timed his fist just right, soaring fists splitting heaven. Roar, his attack and Dugu army's aura combined. Ironback Wolf and Steel Arm Wolf felt the heavens dropping on them. The sheer might of this attack robbed the air from their lungs and stopped their hearts. Boom, the million men of the two wolves were flung all over the place, with many in pieces as the tigers cut through them like paper. Ironback Wolf and Steel Arm Wolf puked blood. They had to thank their formation for still being alive. Although now the divisions were crippled, 30% died from impact while 60% lay in critical condition. "This is impossible," Chuoba Liufeng was slack-jawed. Dugu army didn't have such strength even at full power. How did it break two wolf divisions? Chuoba Liufeng glanced at the flying kid and gulped, "Invincible scamp Gu Santong. He alone broke 1,000,000 soldiers. Someone call the experts to get rid of the kid or we're finished," Chuoba Liufeng ordered. The four tigers were too close though, coming up on Blood Shadow Wolf and Howling Wind Wolf's divisions. Gu Santong was flying in circles overhead. The two wolves gulped, paling from fear. No matter how strong they were in the past, Dugu army was never such a freak. Not a minute ago, they had mocked Zhuo Fan's military ignorance, being only good at schemes. How ironic that a scheme was what had two divisions rooted. The tigers would need but moments to charge through to their young commander and run them over. As for stopping them, well, they didn't even dream of it. They were attack divisions, best used while the enemy was busy pushing back Steel Arm Wolf and Ironback Wolf. They weren't built for defense. It was then that 3 men flew over before Gu Santong. "You again," Gu Santong spat. "You rotten sack of meat, you've always pushed me around. Last time I let you off, yet you still dare to come back. Is it your time to die?" Covered in black robes with black mist around him, Shadow King was back. On his side were Gu Santong's old acquaintances from 300 years ago, Zhu Chengfeng's old elders. The two were filled with bloodlust. Shadow King grinned. Gu Santong, the only reason I'm here is because this time I've come prepared. Look around you, they're all old friends of yours. Recognize them? Gu Santong snorted. I don't have time to waste on nameless juniors. Quite the mouth you have. We fought so hard 300 years ago, and after all this time, the noble Sir Gu acting as divine dragon must have forgotten his friends of old. One mocked. Gu Santong stared back. You were there. Wait, all of them are dead, so how are you two men still alive? Men, Shadow King's hatred burned hotter. Since you forgot, allow me to refresh your memory. These two fought alongside me back then and faked death when the moment was right. Why else would you still have the gall to saunter all over the place? Shadow King's anger targeted these two sages. The two were bashful, sighing, Shadow King, our team of 3 hadn't formed yet. Showing up would have only worked against us. So we decided to buy some time to train our teamwork for the next time we fought Gu Santong. That's why we faked death. You ran, but what about me? Shadow King glared. Heaven's Sage sighed. Shadow King, you've always been true and loyal. You'd never agree with our plan and even fight our attempt. That's why we didn't say anything. You left me for dead. Shadow King gnashed his teeth. It's because I thought you were dead that I resorted to stake it all on taking Gu Santong's 10 punches. It's what got me these creepy ghoulish threads. Aren't we the same? After the battle, Gu Santong broke our spirit root, dashing our hopes for the ethereal stage and sealing our lifespan. We could only drag our miserable existences as crippled husks. How's that any worse than me? You're still human. As a spirit puppet, I am stuck at the same spot forever. I even have to eat souls to survive, for crying out loud. I'm neither man nor shade, but an abomination. Shadow King and the sages were digging up ancient history and any baggage it carried. Gu Santong just stood there with a frown as he considered the two's past. Chuoba Liufeng was fuming below, wishing for nothing more than to go up there and slap some sense into them. You're here as backup, not to quarrel. Is this how Tianyu's experts act? Have some sense of duty, for God's sake. By the time you finish your spat, my men will be gone. Gu Santong had heard enough to ring some bells. Oh, you're not dead. There's still some lively ones from back then. How embarrassing. And you even faked death. That's the same as duping me. You 3 rotten cheaters deserve nothing but death. The 3 turned to the kid, now dawning on them why they were here in the first place, and their faces sank. Heaven and earth sages, let's leave the rancor for now and get back to our mission. It's time we end what we started 300 years ago. Shadow King squinted. The 2 nodded. Our teamwork is perfect and the kid will make a perfect target. Gu Santong grinned. I had wiped the floor with you then, and I'll do the same to you now. He, who knows? As they say, time changes everything. And we had 3 centuries on our side to prepare for the day we'll crush you. We've trained our teamwork for this moment. Heaven Sage exploded with power, releasing blinding light. While Earth Sage turned into a black light, the opposite, and gave off an eerie and dangerous vibe. Under shocked gazes, the 2 lights blended together, forming a huge spinning taiji. Gu Santong's instinct told him something was off about that sucking circle. The 2 had yet to finish their combo, and he was already feeling danger. The 2 actually have an ace. Dad said the first to strike has the advantage. I'll break their move before they complete it. Gu Santong's fist glowed red and he punched. The 2 sages only reached out and the 2 lights formed a vortex, blocking the attack. Gu Santong's attack faded away, chipping away at its power. My punch. Gu Santong widened his eyes. Heaven Sage laughed. The great invincible scamp Gu Santong actually struck first, so you do sense you're no match for us. Why else would you do it? As if I just got tired of your prattle. Gu Santong stuck his chin out and barked. I'll send you 3 to the hereafter just like I did 300 years ago. Humph, angry about being found out. The 2 sages sneered, sending the black and white vortex at Gu Santong. Gu Santong jerked, finding the attack was already upon him. The vortex turned into black and white chains, tightening around him. The chains were weird to be able to withstand his strength. No amount of struggle helped. Heaven Sage grinned. Save it. Our yin-yang chains use the breath of the world feeding into each other and are tied to the world itself. Nothing will ever get out of them unless you can break the world, ha ha ha. The other 2 laughed at Gu Santong's expense. The prick's day had finally come. We're finally free of that insufferable torment, ha ha ha. Their minds drifted out to all kinds of regrets Gu Santong was having when the kid burned red and bellowed, I am soaring Killin, tearing the world couldn't be easier. Roar. Gu Santong's roar shook the heavens, origin form Killin. Gu Santong exploded in a scarlet light and his tiny and adorable face warped. His arms grew, scales covered his skin and his power multiplied. Gu Santong turned from a cute child into a sacred beast. Even when chained, his aura drove fear into the sages. For God's sake, he's a freak through and through. Heaven Sage gasped as the beast's every movement contained unmeasurable power, snapping a chain every time. The entire battlefield was shell-shocked while looking at the beast. Zhuo Fan's son, the one who wrecked Tianyu centuries ago, invincible scamp Gu Santong, was in fact a wild beast. Human sage, don't just stand there. We can't hold on for much longer. Heaven and earth sages were bearing through the strain with clenched teeth and twisted expressions. Shadow King was peachy on the sidelines, not lifting a finger. Shadow King mocked, this would have never happened in the first place if we had dealt with him together 3 centuries ago. Shadow King was really thinking of backstabbing these two, but one thing was clear, only together could they handle Gu Santong for the bigger picture. Shadow King made a sign and a golden chain shot towards the yin-yang chains, making them shine as well. The chains grew tougher and Gu Santong could only wail in distress, unable to break his binds even as Kilin. Heaven, earth and man, tri-barrier, the 3 sages made the same sign. Gu Feng looked up with a frown. He was freaked out by Gu Santong's form as much as the next guy, but he was their ally, their support. With Gu Santong sealed up, his army's wings were cut off. Charging forward now would only net them heavy casualties. Howling Wind Wolf and Blood Shadow Wolf perked up. Gu Santong's loss was their gain. With their numerical advantage, they could easily hold the 600,000 Dugu army back. Come 4 tigers of Tianyu, Blood Shadow Wolf laughed. Gu Feng shouted, Howling Wind Wolf, Blood Shadow Wolf, get on the damn side. Make me. Howling Wind Wolf and Blood Shadow Wolf bit back. Boom, the 2 armies ran into each other, but without their buff, Dugu army's advance fell. Though not to a complete halt, their formation gave them enough strength to push on against the fierce opposition. The enemy fell back 1 step at a time, getting on the brink of collapsing. The wolves were amazed by how just half of Dugu army could wield so much power as to push their 1,000,000 men back. They were this close to crumbling and letting them have a clear way for the leader. It was then that a piercing cry resounded. Gu Feng watched the sky fill with thousands of golden arrows falling down like rain. It's sky-piercing wolf's division. Gu Feng cried, change formation, shields up, mountain formation. Whoosh, Dugu army halted and took a defensive stance. Their yuan qi turned into an impenetrable wall. Just in time to welcome the rain of arrows clanking on their shields, Howling Wind Wolf and Blood Shadow Wolf's morale lifted. Ji Bai was timely with his aid. Divine archers, get ready for another volley, Ji Bai ordered, and his men opened the floodgates. Dugu army could only duck under their shields and hold on against the constant hammering. When the attack finally let up, Dugu army found Howling Wind Wolf and Blood Shadow Wolf teaming up with Sky-Piercing Wolf by surrounding them. Advancing now was out of the question. Gu Feng sighed, the risk was high with this move. It was either win or lose. Flanked as we are, this is where we will meet our end. Brother, what do we do? Dugu Lin asked. Gu Feng shook his head. Our task is done. We just have to hold our ground and keep their men busy. That is the role of bait. 5th holds the true force. Gu Feng looked towards Zhuo Bataishan's tent with a smile. In Wingay City, the house lords were watching Dugu army get pinned down. Gu Santong bound and were worried with anxiety. Pavilion Lord Long, what do? We have to save them or everyone in the city will die, grandmother said. Long Yifi sighed, and how do you suppose we do that? Get Gu Santong freed up, we don't have the manpower. Support the army, how do we do that when we've always operated alone? We will be stuck there with them. All we can do is wait for Zhuo Fan, the others sighed. Zai Xiaofeng shook his head. Did we ever stop to think the day would come when we, the mighty leaders of 7 houses of boundless prestige, will end up so powerless? We are reduced to nothing more than spectators in the battle that will decide our fates. Ha ha ha, now I see just how weak the house lords really are. The others echoed his sentiment with a strained chuckle. On Li Jingshan's side, the elders were running for their lives. Steward Zhu, they don't seem to be buying it. Maybe they don't care about us and are now slaughtering Wingay City. No, Zhuo Fan was resolute. I broke his meat suit and the guy must be boiling mad. The other 2 will be with him for appearance's sake, to save their names. They're overconfident in their ethereal stage power, thinking in their thick heads that revenge couldn't be easier. They'll never go with feints to draw us out by attacking Wingay City. It's too much of a pain when they don't have to. Qiu Yanhai grumbled, Steward Zhu, next time if a twisted trick like honey trap comes to your mind, could you please leave my biddy out of it? Ha ha ha, you think I wanted to do that. She's a victim of circumstances. Zhuo Fan said. The plan was to draw the experts away by pissing them off and give the 4 tigers of Tianyu some breathing room. As to how we go about doing that, it all came down to the adversary. It's not my fault that a pervert showed up, even kissing me with that foul mouth of his. So why are you so upset? No one touched your biddy. In fact, I'm the victim here. The others laughed. Qiu Yanhai bowed. Many thanks, Steward Zhu, for saving my biddy. That's what teammates do. Don't mind it, Elder Q. Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan waved him off. A bellow came from behind them. You rotten son of a bitch, don't move a muscle. I'll flay you alive, burn your soul, and take that meat sack for my own. Turning around, they found 2 men and 1 python coming over at full speed. Li Jingshan turned to Zhuo Fan. The steward looked below and pointed at a valley. "That's where we land, Elder Li. Someone's expecting us." "Sure thing." Li Jingshan nodded and flew with the couple behind him. The 4 of them landed in this picturesque landscape, surrounded by mountains on all sides. The blissful sound of a stream and the forest animals made it paradise. The 3 ethereal stage experts touched down as well. Obscene Snake snorted, an ethereal stage cultivator, some radiant stage experts, and a puny profound heaven cultivator think of running from us. Well, think again. Who said we're running? Think we're scared, is that it? Zhuo Fan mocked with an obnoxious tone. We just recalled that we had prior engagements and had to visit some friends. What are you doing coming with us? Hi, cut the bull. Talk trash all you want, but at the end of the day I'll peel your skin and wear you like a suit. Back up a little. Zhuo Fan cut him off and sneered. Here I thought only the white-mustached Foggy was slow, but now it seems you aren't so bright yourself. How would you look if you wore me without skin? Didn't think of that, did you? The python burned with fury, looking lost all over the place. He was only spitting insults, not minding the contradictions. What would I ever do with a skinned body? Holding his head, Elder Hu's savage eyes glared at Obscene Snake. Are you here to kill him or to chat up with him? What are you doing getting tongue-tied in crap? You're dragging the intellect of our whole sect through the mud. Elder Hu roared at Obscene Snake and Jackal. All he got was a huff and puff from them, focusing their angry glares on Zhuo Fan. It was all this piece of crap's fault for them ending like this. One in a sorry state and the other without a body. Their reputation as an ethereal stage expert aside, he had now attacked another angle, their brains. Obscene Snake snarled, "Rotten punk, I will crack your skin, take your bones, and torture you. I'll make you suffer until you beg for death." Did you give up on possessing me? Zhuo Fan grinned. Obscene Snake's tail was whistling in rage. None of your goddamn business. Just remember, I will make your life a living hell. You will live a long and painful life, hi. Zhuo Fan merely shook his head, dumbass. Boy, are these people the target. An aged voice resounded. The elders jerked around but saw nothing. Fear creeped into their hearts for how much weaker they were compared to the owner of this voice. The 3 felt perhaps more than a little uneasy. Did we just get played again? We, the great ethereal stage experts, an expert ambush. But Tianyu has nobody stronger than us. Even Li Jingshan's case took 1,000 years to pass, yet now there's another ethereal stage expert in hiding. The 3 gulped, their common sense defeated. Zhuo Fan sneered at them, cupping his hands. I thank the elder for his support. They are all here, please begin. Fine, the aged voice came again. From all around the mountains, space twisted until 5 aged robes came into view, having the group surrounded. Every single one of them had a handicap. One with atrophied ears, one was blind, one had a cut-off nose, and one with the tied lips, even though his voice still came out. The last one was looking quite healthy, if one ignored his other crippled senses. He didn't even have a tongue, only groaning as he talked. Following the trend, the 5 men each missed sensory organs, yet through a twisted logic, still had the sense that the other guys were missing. Even Li Jingshan twitched a bit after looking at the creepy 5, while the 3 elders were downright stumped, even falling back in fear. Fierce Tiger's teeth chattered. Demon Scheming Sect's Impermanence 5, what are you doing here? Last I checked, Demon Scheming Sect is one of Tianyu Empire's 3 guardian sects. Going about our domain is only natural. That being said, I can't help but wonder, what's Beast Taming Sect doing here? Are you here to mess with our disciples? 4 elders simply meditated on a rock, with only the blind, deaf, and sealed-mouth elder speaking. The terror was growing within the 3 beast elders, evident by their sweat. Fierce Tiger wiped his brow and bowed. Elders, we had been taunted by some insidious lowlife. We have never touched any of your great sect's disciples. Never, is it? Then what was that flaying our disciple and taking his body all about? My ears are frail, but I can hear just fine. The same one spoke. The trio were panicking now, crying at Zhuo Fan, you're a demon scheming sect disciple? Yep, in the making. Zhuo Fan shrugged. The trio shook like leaves and hatred exploded within. Oh, not out of regret, but with malice directed at their intelligence reports. They did it on purpose. How else could they not find out that our target is with the demon scheming sect? What was supposed to be a simple in-and-out job beneath the prying eyes of Tianyu's guardian sects had now become a task of targeting demon scheming sect's disciple. They were as smooth as a lummox, Tianyu's emperor in particular. You fool, going around targeting demon scheming sect's men with your pranks, is life too good for you? The 3 elders were close to bawling. Impermanence 5 are veterans. We should have had an easy time, but we just came here and have already hit a wall. Fierce Tiger bowed at once. Elders, we did not know the kid was yours. We ask that you overlook our transgressions out of the goodness of your hearts. Ha, what's the point of sect rules if a simple apology would suffice? You messed with our disciple and think you can walk away just like that? Who do you take the demon-scheming sect for? The same elder taunted. As tears welled up in their eyes, Obscene Snake had to show his dissatisfaction. Elders, just look at us. It's him who has messed with us. He is still alive and kicking even after taking out my body. Ha ha ha, a profound heaven kid destroyed a great ethereal stage expert's body. What a shame, and now you have the nerve to own up to it. The way I see it, death will look much better on you, the elder mocked. The other 4 elders shook a little, each expressing joy in their own creepy way. Fierce Tiger barked, Obscene Snake, are you so damn blind? This is a trap. Demon scheming sect is splitting hairs just to fish for leverage. We can beg all we want, but they won't ever let us go. Ha ha ha, everyone is a product of their environment. You haven't been around this kid for long, yet you already have the kid's brain rubbing off on you, if only a little. I think congratulations are in order. The elder mocked. Fierce Tiger turned savage. Impermanence 5, you're famous in Western lands, but you're not much different from us. Don't push it or we'll take you down with us. Now I really want to see just how 3 nobodies would go about doing that, ha ha ha. The elder shot back, kid, take your men away before they tie us down. Yes, elder, Zhuo Fan bowed, giving Li Jingxian a look. The 4 flew away but didn't go too far, watching from the sidelines at the edge of the valley. A fight of this degree would do the fresh ethereal stage Li Jingxian and the power couple a world of good. Qiu Yanhai frowned at the still-sitting elders. Steward Zhu, what's the deal with them? Their senses are wilted, but not by accident. Ha ha ha, true, it came about from their cultivation method. Zhuo Fan explained, it is a combination art, vicissitudes art. It is said a year of vicissitudes, a time of blossoms and a time of wilting. When the year turns, vicissitudes begin anew. This is the natural cycle. Everything in this world rises and falls in a never-ending cycle. These 5 elders emulate it through their sensory organs, but the cycle can sometimes thrive and sometimes degrade. To compensate for this glaring weakness, they each gave up all their sensory organs except one. Thus, together, they will only thrive, to the point that many experts stronger than them have fallen to their combination art. The elders are named after the sensory organ they picked. Take that talking elder, for instance. He is Elder Shi because of his tongue. The others nodded, with Zhu Qingjian found their creepy looks not at all inviting, but they're so damn ugly. No matter how great the art is, I'll never practice it. The others laughed. Zhu Fan continued, Sister Zhu, you're underestimating the vicissitudes art. Not anyone can train in it. The least you should be ready for is to give up your face, but you also have to join 4 others in using it. While each of them has a sense still working, it is at the group's discretion to use it. And therein lies the kicker, you can't control it. In reply to their shock, Zhu Fan smiled. Anyway, there are 3 reckless fools trying it out. You best peel your eyes to a true ethereal stage expert. 5, you're seasoned experts, but we're no pushovers either. Must we do this? Push us hard enough and we'll stoop to anything. Yeah, we're so ruthless that we even scare ourselves. Elder who watched the enemy with tense and sweaty brow, though still talked tough in the hopes of scaring them. The other 2 threw in a helping hand. The 5 elders sat still like before, letting these 3 talk to the walls. Elder Shi began after a while, ha ha ha, there's a saying, all bark and no bite. I gotta say, the more you hoot, the more relieved I feel. PFF, Zhu Qingjian giggled, Steward Zhu, that guy's just like you, throwing biting remarks. Of course, why do you think he kept his tongue and earned his nickname, Elder Shi? Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan chuckled. The tiger, wolf, and snake were fuming. Like pretty much anyone else, these 3 were fierce believers of death before dishonor. Now that Elder Shi had taunted and mocked them, he was wiping the floor with their name as even ethereal stage experts. It came as no surprise when Elder Hu exploded with power as a golden-eyed tiger image appeared around him. The sky darkened, the wind howled like a tiger on the prowl. Li Jingxian shook, the roar infecting him. It was many times stronger than the one he felt when fighting Fierce Tiger. Only in danger would Fierce Tiger show his true power in order to fight for his life. Elder Lang had a mighty wolf around him, baring his claws and fangs, growling at the 5 elders with bloodshot eyes. As for the run of the litter, Obscene Snake, powering up proved a tiny bit difficult without a body. In fact, he was decaying as time went by. He'd better get a meat suit fast before a breeze blew him over. No pressure though, as an ethereal stage expert's soul could survive for a long time. Then again, the weaker the soul got, the harder it would be to get a new body. Impermanence 5 just sat there, chilling with no intent of attacking or leaving, just stalling. The 3 elders were clamoring to get away, though none tried to leave by force, just struggling only to find themselves stuck. Elder Hu snapped first under the pressure and flew into a rage. Jackal and Obscene Snake followed. The 5 elders acted right away as well, though only in the form of one elder. Whoosh, the elder who could open his mouth appeared in front of them. The trio were exuberant. No matter how much fear they had for the five, just one elder presented them with a high chance of survival. Of course they'd take it. 3 souls joined together, the auras combining into a might that could crush mountains. Even Li Jingshan felt fear. Their combined power came from how well they knew each other, how perfectly in tune they were, while the elder just stood there, opening his mouth only when the attack was on top of him to release a dreadful howl. Ah, bam! A ripple like a sonic boom ripped apart the attack like paper. Hu and Lang puffed blood from the searing headache and their soul forms vanished. While Obscene Snake had it worse, his already faint form was much closer to fading away. This attack had sapped his soul energy. The 3 groaned, falling on the ground like bricks. While the attacking elder returned to his spot, Li Jingshan's side was bug-eyed. A mere shout rooted 3 grand ethereal stage experts' combo soul attack. No matter how great the gap in strength, it should never be this great. They were all in the ethereal stage at the end. Just like how divine dragons didn't have much of an upper hand against plain radiant stage experts. Zhuo Fan smiled. It's too soon to be shocked. That was just a warm-up. Elder Ku merely opened his mouth, that's all. What? They all cried out, what will a full-blown attack look like then? Zhuo Fan explained. The greatest difference between ethereal stage and radiant stage is soul form. They all rely on their souls. Using anything less means sparring. What Elder Ku used was the power of the vicissitudes art trained to its peak, a skill called Demon Echo. The others are no different. Elder Shi's beguiling, Elder Yan's deluding sight, Elder Er's omnipresent hearing, Elder Bai's uncanny smell, each of them is just as amazing. Together, they cover their glaring weaknesses, never waning and ever thriving, flawless. No one would take them on unless they had an unfair advantage. This is the demon scheming sect's personal elders, Impermanence 5's power. They nodded but then asked, Steward Zhu, what do you mean by personal elders? Ha ha ha, rumor has it that the high venerables of demon scheming sect are lofty positions that the disciples have endless respect for. But only the oldest are worthy of such title and can even grow to have the power to remove the sect leader. That makes having personal guards natural, hence they are called personal elders. People who should have been the sect's venerables have now become high venerables' personal guards, thus reduced to mere elders, even as their power goes beyond a mere venerable. Li Jingshan gave a thumbs up, and you just asked for their help, Steward Zhuo. Are you sure you're going to the demon scheming sect as a disciple and not as a venerable? Zhuo Fan chuckled. This is all courtesy of demon scheming sect's sect leader, Zai Weiyu. Maybe he values me just that much. Be that as it may, by sending these 5, his intentions are loud and clear. The way I see it, these 5 would find it a cinch to deal with 30 of these 3 experts. The others were so shocked that they just bobbed their heads. The 3 in question crawled to their feet at long last. No matter how much they'd heard of the 5's prowess, it still topped their imagination. Just one of them had handled the 3 of them like children. Wiping the blood on his mouth, Elder Hu cupped his hands. Impermanence 5's vicissitudes formation lives up to its name. I accept my defeat, though it's not much of a contest, ganging up on the few of us. Ha ha ha, what are you spouting? Vicissitudes formation, we haven't even used it. That was all Elder Ku. As for ganging up on you, it's your side outnumbering him. But I get it, trying to talk your way out of it. A shame that's the most useless approach when it comes to demonic cultivators like us. While righteous cultivators like you would go the extra mile for stuff like honor and whatever, for us the end justifies the means. A loss won't change no matter how few or many are attacking. It's all about strength. Elder She didn't buy into the taunt. Fierce Tiger's face fell. Damn unreasonable demonic cultivators. They don't give a hoot about their names, wanting our lives even in a 5 against 1. Against righteous cultivators, they'd already be ashamed by now, going for a fair fight instead. Elder She mocked, since you're so keen on seeing our formation, though unworthy, we're happy to make an exception for your ignorant eyes. Oh no, we'd like our eyes to be ignorant, thank you. Elder Hu waved around. The trio together couldn't even deal with one of them. While all 5 would kill them with a flick, it was an overkill plain as day, like a 9-foot-tall mean thug towering a 3-year-old. A slap would do him in, but the thug just had to take the kid through the full course of his arsenal. The 3 lamented their fates. Impermanence 5 couldn't care less. They began with hand signs, clearly deciding to torture these 3 bastards good. Zhuo Fan's eyes lit up like a good audience. Impermanence 5's formation was a novelty, rarely observed. To witness it was a chance that appeared once in a blue moon. Especially for Li Jingshan and company, the peak of the ethereal stage would be a good demonstration of this stage's true potential. Hum ripples came out of the 5 elders one after the other, and the sky above them turned a bright green. It enveloped the whole valley just like a barrier. The beast elders were tense and scared. It was Elder Hu who decided to act and bellowed as he rushed to the skies to leave this damn place. 3 meters, that was how far he got. Green light flashed on him and held him steady. Fierce Tiger was aware of his predicament and unleashed every ounce of power in his being. With a roar, a golden tiger came out of him, soaring away. "Elder Hu, don't you want your body?" Elder Lang cried. All that work pumping iron to get to this stage. It was a shame just letting it go. And now he'd have to do it all over again with his next body. So despite his love for the chiseled body, desperate times called for desperate measures. While Elder Hu's mind was set, using his body as a lure to get his soul to survive, Elder Lang was overcome by mixed emotions. Fierce Tiger never gave them a hint of his plan and just left them there. The five were sure to address this oversight the second time. Elder Hu was the sole exception. Who could blame him? Any attempt to let his pals in on his plan would be foiled. Omnipresent hearing was just that amazing, picking up the tiniest sounds, even transmission. Not that Elder Lang knew any of this. As for obscene snake, he was outraged, since this plan would never have worked for him in the first place. He had no shell to shed, being a soul and all. The snake and the wolf stared slack-jawed at the sky. With Fierce Tiger moments away from leaving the valley and getting his freedom, the leftover felt forlorn. Just then green vines shot from beneath and coiled Fierce Tiger tightly like a bow-wrapped gift. Fierce Tiger roared, an exercise in futility. The green vines got him back down to earth one step at a time. "Ha ha ha, we'd have no name to speak of if even you three nobodies could escape us." Elder she mocked. The others nodded, sitting on their rock and doing what felt like light work of catching him. She and Lang's faces fell. If even Fierce Tiger's surprise plan failed, what did that mean for them? Yet another ripple covered the green valley and thousands of vines came from all sides at the two. They had no hope at all of fighting back. Any struggle was just wasted energy, tightened among the glowing vines. Fierce Tiger roared in his feeble attempts, feeling himself growing weaker. The tiger's soul was slowly fading as well. While the green glow on the vines only got stronger, the same happened to Obscene Snake. Without a body to shield him, his soul was taking the brunt. Elder Lang was shaking in his boots, his body drying up like a raisin and the vines pulling his soul out into the open, awaiting the same fate. They were officially in hell, experiencing a world of pain and endless remorse. "Elders, have mercy. We'll never come near your precious disciples again. There's nothing personal between us. There'll be no revenge. I beg of you to let us go. We will never forget this kindness. Spare us, elders." The three whined across the whole valley in a sappy and tearful voice, but the 5 elders were like rocks. Li Jingshan's side knew the 5 elders were way better than the 3, but not by this degree. They didn't even move and the 3 were already dying. How are they same-stage cultivators? The least you can do is twitch a finger. Qiu Yanhai said in shock. "Steward Zhu, what are those things? Is it a grand skill of theirs from cultivating?" "That's their soul," Zhuo Fan said. "Soul" was the unanimous question. In the ethereal stage, the soul takes shape and can be molded into any form through cultivation methods. Like those 3, they trained in a method that made their soul animals. Elder Li should be a black dragon because of the wraith art he used to achieve advancement. Zhuo Fan explained, while Impermanence 5 have the vicissitudes art and have combined their strengths, this made their souls not the vines, but that green glow you see covering the valley and sealing this place, the vicissitudes world. They have the control of every root, every blade of grass at their fingertips, thriving and waning, translating into their enemies' flourishing or decaying states. Taking away another's life is what they are best at. With this lesson and practical demonstration, they came to the obvious conclusion that in the ethereal stage, the soul's strength ultimately decides victory. Zhu Qingjian said, "Steward Zhu, what about mine and Geezer's souls? What will they be like?" Zhu Fan surmised. "Sister Zhu and Elder Q train in fire and water arts, so you ought to become fire and water in constant growth. Better than those 3, Zhu Qingjian lit up. Zhu Fan shook his head. "It means no set form like an illusion, though I can't say for sure. We'll just have to see it first. If those 3 animals were tough, they'd be breaking away by now. The soul can take any shape in the ethereal stage, each with its own advantage, all depending on their cultivation." They all nodded. The 3 soul beasts' pleadings stopped at last, their voices cut. It was now a matter of time before their souls died. Elder She took out a gourd and with a flick, the vines threw the tamed pets inside. Putting the cork on, Elder She stashed the gourd and the green glow faded with another sign from the 5 elders. Zhu Fan and the others went to them and bowed. "Thank you for everything, elders. However, I didn't understand something. Why did you let them live as prisoners?" "Ha ha ha, this is a sect matter, Junior. Killing them is easy as well as missing out on a huge harvest. We'd rather take them to the sect leader first and let him decide their fate." Elder She spoke. Zhu Fan nodded. "Zaiwai wants to stir things up, I see, and to take it out on beast taming sect. I reckon he'll reap a plenty. What will that make of the elders' supports, him helping me or me helping him?" Elder She looked hard at Zhu Fan and nodded. "You've got quite the brain, Junior. I see why the sect leader likes you and sent us over, though keep it in mind to show him some courtesy. Sect leader is no saint either. Thank you for the reminder, I will keep that in mind, Zhuo Fan bowed. The elders nodded. Since that is all, we'll be returning. I will handle the rest. Thank you for all you have done, elders. Zhuo Fan bowed and they flew away. Li Jingshan muttered, nice guys, those seniors, unlike any demonic cultivator I've ever seen. There are plenty of freaks of nature around, but that doesn't mean they're all savage and twisted. Many just walk their own path and care not for others. Because of this, they're lumped in with demonic cultivators. These 5 hardly talk with anyone else beside themselves. Their shrewdness isn't too sharp. They're the closest thing to a saint as far as demonic cultivators go, Zhuo Fan explained. He looked towards Wingay's city and shouted, now we just have to win this battle and everything will fall in place. On the battlefield, the elite remnants of Dugu army with its tigers were going all out to hold back 3 wolf wardens and their massive army of 1,000,000 men. Blood Shadow Wolf snickered and shouted, tigers, you have my full respect for your valor and for not losing your head in panic. In my name as Blood Shadow Wolf, I promise the commander will take you in. Just surrender, dream on, we are Dugu army's 4 tiger generals. We don't surrender to the likes of savages, Dugu Feng snorted. Howling Wind Wolf mocked, your lord threw you to the wolves, so why do you still insist on fighting? Our commander cherishes talent. Join us and your army with you at its helm will win us all the battles, your future will be glorious. Why must you throw it all away, and for what that twisted emperor of yours, is he worth dying for? Quanrong and Tianyu's emperor's deal was just that, business. It had no clause saying that they had to like the guy for his foul schemes. It worked against him in fact, making them admire Dugu army's valor instead. It went without saying, when the situation called for it, the Quanrong army would rather flip these intrepid warriors to their side. A shame that the one thing standing in their way was the same element that had made the Dugu army invincible for all these years, their resolve and undying loyalty. Marshall had fallen at the emperor's underhanded attack, but if there was one thing these men couldn't do, it was to become traitors. Howling Wind Wolf, Blood Shadow Wolf, save your breath. We will defend our home and every soul in it to our dying breaths. Tianyu isn't the land, it is its people, Dugu Feng shouted. Dugu army echoed his will. Even when surrounded, they held strong like true warriors. The 3 wolves nodded. Such fine men, a darn shame too. The wolves gave the signal. Sky-piercing wolf shouted, 4 tigers of Tianyu, today is the day we'll end you and give you a proper burial. Much appreciated, ha ha ha, Dugu Feng laughed. They were mere bait in this battle, but with death lurking at every turn, the brothers had made peace with it. The wolves were hesitating. Fighting their rivals for so many years got them to understand their character. But a soldier's duty was above sympathy and individual will, and they had to cut down their enemies without remorse. Crush them, the wolves ordered while the 4 tigers of Tianyu got ready for a 3-pronged assault. The heavy and heroic mood broke suddenly due to a wail in the forest. The flames reached the heavens. The wolves cried, it's the commanding tent and ambush. Ha ha ha, 5th brother made his move, Dugu Feng laughed. The wolves shouted, you had someone go after our base. Your entire army is trapped. What other men are there to make a sudden strike? He, never saw that coming, did you? We have one more division, led by the 5th Tiger of Tianyu, the Flying Tiger Army. We're just bait. Marshall figured out that you're out for a quick strike, going all out. So we baited you and you bought it, leaving the 5th brother free to attack your commanding tent. To capture an enemy, first take their head, ha ha ha. Dugu Feng laughed and the wolves exploded in rage. The full might of the 8 wolf wardens was here, leaving the commanding tent in solitude and defenseless. Going where the fire burned hottest, Luo Yunhai led his steel war puppets, cutting through the remnants like butter. With their capacity as freaks, Luo Yunhai found that a formation at this point was overkill. Charging was enough to mow the enemy down. They were an unstoppable killing machine. Luo Yunhai wasn't quite happy though. He knew Zhuo Fan was using this war to establish his position, a cinch with this ridiculous army, but it was so easy that it made the wind feel flat. All those years he spent in Dugu army learning formations, tactics, maneuvers, and counters were flushed down the drain. With an army like this, they acted like a locust plague, tearing everything to shreds and leaving only a mess behind. It mowed down even the likes of Zhuo Bataishan's personal guards. No order, no tactic, just head-on attack like a deranged, murderous fanatic. It finally dawned on him as to why Zhuo Fan kept saying power trumps everything. Young master, there are no more enemies. All that's left is the commanding tent. We await your orders. A peak radiant stage war puppet bowed. Luo Yunhai muttered, with your strength, just go in there and grab him. What are you asking me for? Young master, it's Steward Zhu's will. Take the commander yourself, sir, and your name will spread. It will be on everyone's lips and in their hearts. Brother Zhu is so thoughtful. Even though this achievement brings me no joy. Luo Yunhai shook his head and walked to Zhuo Bataishan's tent. The place was surrounded by war puppets. Luo Yunhai walked in to see a lone stalwart man sitting in the high seat without fear or anxiety. Saluting, Luo Yunhai spoke, "I've long since heard Godfather say that commander is his adversary for life. Today I can attest to that, but now I've taken your camp. You've lost, so I will have to ask you to come with me." "Ha ha ha, where did this egotistical brat come from? Want to beat my Quanrong army and take me down? You have another thing coming." Luo Yunhai stared at his back. "You're not Zhuo Fan." "Of course not." Swinging around, "It was just some youth in the commander's robe. Commander knew about your side's weak position. The only way to win was by taking him out. You've been had, ha ha ha. Young master, there are enemy soldiers crawling all over the place. We're surrounded." A shout came from outside. Luo Yunhai nodded and sighed. Just like Big Brother Zhu said, the first plan only had a 10% chance of success. We'll just switch to plan B and see if the old guy is confident enough to show up. "Time to pay those brothers of mine a visit, ha ha ha. Why are you so calm?" the fake commander jerked. Luo Yunhai grinned. Unrest has never helped anyone. "To get Zhuo Fan, we have exhausted everything to anticipate anything. In any case, all I need is his location and Flying Tiger Army will get him in under a minute, ha ha ha." Luo Yunhai left a stunned fake commander behind. "Why don't you kill me? I'm ready for you to take my head. Why kill a nobody? Just like Big Brother Zhu said, you can't stop me, so it makes no difference." Luo Yunhai's last laugh echoed in the youth's ears. He contemplated before nodding. The mettle of a great general. Luo Yunhai signaled for the men to follow him out of the camp. He then heard a laughter approaching him. Savage Wolf met him with his division bursting with bloodthirst. "Ha ha ha, damn punk, you took our camp and now you want to just walk out. Where do you think this place is?" Zhao Lahan was bursting with power, though a peak radiant stage war puppet blocked the shockwave. Luo Yunhai snickered. "It's the enemy camp, of course. What else could it be? A scenic route. Cocky little prick, talking smack even as your death nears. You're just like Zhuo Fan." Zhao Lahan pointed behind him. "See these. Do you think a few 100,000 men can't wipe the floor with you in minutes?" Luo Yunhai made a mock copy of his gesture. "See this Flying Tiger Army. Do you think it can't flatten you in seconds?" Zhao Lahan was stumped. "Are all Zhu Fan's underlings brash and obnoxious?" He looked at the enemy once again, but snorted in the end, "Rube whelp, that's just 100,000 men, while I have 500,000 men with me. Why are you so cocky? Give up for the sake of both our men and your puny life. You're the dingleberry. You'll see soon enough that numbers aren't everything. Tell me something I don't know. The greatest army Tianyu has ever seen has always been the Dugu army. Those men behind you might be the same, but they still won't top my 500,000 elites." With Luo Yunhai still acting tough, Zhao Lahan resorted to intimidation. The kid wasn't buying it, grinning from ear to ear. "Then you're just narrow-minded." "Formation, let's show this savage wolf just how wrong he is," Luo Yunhai shouted. The war puppets moved into the formation they had practiced for a short couple of months. The awkwardness was still there, but the foundation was steady as each soldier was an expert by himself. The sky was saturated with raw power, its volatile nature stabbing Zhao Lahan and his men into backing away. Zhao Lahan was speechless and sweat poured down on him. What the hell kind of division is this? How is it so monstrous? They're only 100,000 men, yet are proving to be more than enough to offset the numerical disadvantage. It's like fighting 1,000,000 veterans. He was better off not knowing. This display of power had him on the verge of wetting himself. 5,000 radiant stage experts, close to 40,000 profound heaven experts, and the rest were in the bone-tempering stage. Such a lineup had long since stopped being a band of freaks and monsters. It was downright cheating. Bone-tempering experts were the cream of an army to begin with. Profound heaven experts would be generals, rarer than rare. While radiant stage experts would be gods of war, unstoppable high generals. That was where the 8 wolf wardens and 4 tigers of Tianyu stood. Your common soldier would only ever be in the chi condensation stage. An army's power had nothing to do with strength per se, but relied on formations, combining their meager efforts into a well-oiled killing machine. But the sight of close to 50,000 men being made up of radiant stage and profound heaven experts had this veteran of countless bloody battles and gruesome slaughters soiling himself. "Dude, don't tease me. Since when did the world have such an army? Who in their right mind accepts becoming a common soldier with that power in them? A venerable or an elder has a better future. The likes of those joining the war effort were the great minority, and that was only because they were raised in a military environment. But this division here is an abomination." Finding further explanation unnecessary thanks to Zhao Lahan's dumb look, Luo Yunhai grinned. "Savage wolf, see that? This is the Flying Tiger Army that our dear Marshal Zhu has trained personally and gave to me to command. Do you mind taking it for a spin? Zhu Fan's soldiers." Zhao Lahan's mouth fell, not liking his situation one bit. "Damn you, Zhu Fan, keep your freakiness to yourself, don't spread it around. How did he train them?" And how the hell am I supposed to win? Taking a deep breath to gather a semblance of reason, he shouted, "Fall back." Like a good wolf, he led by example, taking flight first. The Quanrong soldiers were still out of it. The sight of the savage and brash great general Zhao Lahan fleeing in panic was a first for them. Moments later, they followed suit. For even the general to abandon ship, it only went to show that the enemy was far above their station. This had never happened to the Quanrong army before, and by God, was it embarrassing. Luo Yunhai smiled and shouted, "A team of 100 radiant stage experts is to go get me that savage wolf. Crush the rest?" "Yes, sir." With a brief salute, they got to work. Like demons from hell, Luo Yunhai's men dove into the savage wolf's division, and all they had was but a crushing advantage in terms of cultivation to initiate the culling. The sky sang with the mournful cries of the defeated. Savage Wolf lost half his men in a jiffy. Though the fleeing general had a big part to play, the division had lost the will to hold their formation. Not that it would have made much of a difference. The war puppets would still cut through them. Zhao Lahan sped like a wild beast, an exercise in futility against radiant stage experts. They still caught up. Zhao Lahan was devastated. These experts weren't just many in numbers, they even had wings. How was he supposed to even escape? Rotten piece of filth, Zhuo Fan, how filthy rich are you? Did you feed them money as training? There was no way out. Zhao Lahan sighed at the sky, finding heaven against him. What should have been an easy job laying in wait for rats to swarm the camp, those little rats turned on him like tigers. Now he'd be chewed down to nothing. He should have let someone else take this job. Hindsight never was much help to anyone, not in his position at least. All that was left for him was to go down in a blaze of glory. Zhao Lahan exploded with power. "I am one of the 8 wolf wardens, my strength divine, tearing at spiritual beasts for as long as I can remember, and the best warrior in Quanrong. Come and get me." His audience chuckled with a playful look. Zhuo Fan had refined these war puppets. Besides the soul, every single cell had gone through inhuman refining. "Let's see you tear steel." One war puppet shot towards him. Zhao Lahan grabbed him and pulled. Crack, the snapping of bones was music to his ears. When teammates saw one of them getting torn apart, they'd be wrecked with fear, thinking they'd be next. No matter how many they were, the panic would leave room for error and a way out. But his smile was short-lived, disillusioned with his plan. His arms hung powerless from his shoulders. That snapping sound had come from his arms. Zhao Lahan watched him with shock. "Dude, you're a body cultivating expert. Never done it in my life. This steel body is courtesy of Steward Zhu to all of us. All that raw power won't do you good here. You won't be tearing anything," he laughed. Zhao Lahan was dumbstruck, watching the 100 men with an ashen face. The grand numero uno Quanrong warrior just got kicked 100 paces back in Tianyu, scratched that 100,000. Zhao Lahan made such a funny face like a kicked puppy. "Is Luo clan a realm of freaks? Why are you all so damn abnormal?" The others laughed in pride. It was finally their turn to mess with others. This is the feeling of strength. They sealed Zhao Lahan's cultivation, making him captive. Back at the battlefield, the 3 wolves watched their camp with worry. The wails and cries weren't helping either, though it did bring a smile to the tigers. "Howling Wind Wolf, leave it to us and go save Commander," Shibai said. Howling Wind Wolf nodded, just as he heard Dugu Feng's mockery, "Too little too late. But by all means, go for it. You'll just find your dear Commander Tauba in Fifth's chains. You'll only be making it easier for us going there to surrender. This battle is our win, don't bet on it." The wolves turned towards the voice in shock. "T the commander." Men made way for the incoming Slaughter Wolf's division. Next to him was a man in a deputy's clothes. Taking off his helmet, the Grand Commander of the Quanrong Army revealed his location. Around him were Tauba Lioner and his guards. "Chuoba Taishan, so that's where you are," Dugu Feng cried. Chuoba Taishan nodded in pride. "I've studied Zhuo Fan's style and know he is good at using tricks. And since you're at a disadvantage, the only way to win is by taking the head. That being said, I laid an ambush in my place at the camp, and just like I figured, you went for it." Dugu Feng fell silent. Jibai and the other 2 were lost. Slaughter Wolf explained, "The deployment of all 8 wolf wardens was a ruse. Commander and young Miss had been by my side, while the young master was the stand-in to draw your attention." While Zhao Lahan's division was fake, he was in fact waiting to spring the trap on the camp. Everything went just like Commander anticipated. This way their strength will fall and taking Wingay's city will be even easier. This explanation shed light on the situation while filling the wardens with utmost respect for Chuoba Taishan. It was then that a flash of fire covered the sky, unleashing a monumental explosion and adding its own particular light to the battlefield. Chuoba Taishan frowned at the flaming corona and a bad feeling overcame him. "Just what are you planning? Is that an ambush? Ha ha ha, the few you see here are the only ones that can fight." "What ambush, then?" Chuoba Taishan looked Dugu Feng dead in the eye. Feng's mouth perked up. Ha ha ha, Chuo Taishan, you fell for it. There's no getting out of this one. Chuo Taishan squinted. Forgive this old man for not making sense of anything you just said. Chuo Taishan, just like you said, we're short on manpower, robbed of the option to meet you in open battle. Victory can only come by taking the leader. No matter how important the main camp is, the commander had to be safe at all times to lead the army. Marshal Zhu figured you'd ditch the camp and hide among your troops. Du Feng snorted. Chuo Taishan gasped, what's the point of striking my camp then? Bait, Du Feng laughed. In Marshal's immortal words, all big guys like to work it, either openly or hidden. Whether we stormed the stand-in commander's camp or Fifth went for it, both would achieve their purpose as bait, to flush you out and have you explain your grand plan in a glorious fashion, ha ha ha. Chuo Taishan flushed and coughed. He had never known defeat, and now his first one had proved to be devastating. Taoba Lioner went to him in tears. Chuo Liu Feng, the stand-in commander, was every bit unwilling but relented in the end. Everything was going like clockwork until this freak team showed up, turning everything upside down. I'll say Zhuo Fan is shrewd, but pulling out this trick is a complete cheating, ha ha ha. Chuo Liu Feng mourned his fate. Outside Wingei's city, out of the 1,000,000 men drafted to fight the Quanrong, barely any had survived. Tianyu had many cultivators, but on the field of battle anything could happen, stopping them from going all out. Lone wolves as they were, they easily fell under the might of Quanrong's military discipline. These people were in qi condensation or bone-tempering stage, and were nothing more than cannon fodder. Zhuo Fan had no hope for cannon fodder, putting them in front of the enemy just to buy Wingei's city some time. The real winning move was executed by the Four Tigers and Luo Yunhai. Although now this cannon fodder was about to collapse, Wingei's city's gate was about to crumble any second because of the Quanrong siege. The house lords standing on the walls were waiting for any sign of Zhuo Fan. All they had was hope. What's Steward Zhuo doing? The city's about to fall. It was at that moment that Quanrong's commander declared surrender. The fighting stopped right away. The Quanrong were stumped knowing they had over 2,000,000 men's advantage and were this close to taking the city. Commander's orders left them lost and confused, while the Luo clan's recruits were so touched that they started shedding tears of joy, being able to keep their lives intact. Their next hope was for a reward, hugging a big shot and shooting through ranks. Moving on, Shadow King was speeding towards the Imperial Palace to report, but a loud roar from a huge black dragon blocked his path. He didn't even get a peep out and was swallowed in one gulp. The black dragon flew back into Li Jingshan, the ethereal stage's sole shape. Amazing, Qiu Yanhai praised. Last time Shadow King had us on the defensive, but now Elder Li has finished him off in one shot. Such is the gap between stages. Li Jingshan grinned. That brings Steward Zhuo's tasks to an end. All that's left is to settle it with the Emperor. The servants ran to and fro in the Imperial Palace, hanging lamps and decorations for some big occasion. There was no big celebration, though, since the sound of festivities never left the walls of the Imperial Palace. In the witching hour, the moon hung high in the sky and the Imperial Palace shone like daylight, revealing 4 people in the wide hall. The Emperor seated on his throne, Crown Prince on the seat to his right, his largeness to his left, and Princess Yangning was seated further to the left. 2 generations of Yuan clan had gathered here for a family picture, while servants stood to the side at attention. Looking at his children, the aged emperor showed kindness. Today is my birthday. It is not as lively as the celebration I had last year, but it is peaceful. It's been too long since we sat together as a family. Imperial Father, may you live for millennia to care for our nation and be carefree. It is my privilege to be here with you and just talk at leisure. Crown Prince bowed. Fatty followed, while Yangning was still sour, flicking her head away. The emperor began, Crown Prince, I know you always go by the rules, but you are among family here. Can't you let go of those old pedantic and empty formalities? I obey the Imperial Father's order. Crown Prince bowed again. The emperor sighed from the imperial power and imperial grief. Even his own flesh and blood treated him like a stranger. The emperor said, go on. Imperial Father, everyone covets the Crown Prince's position. You appointed me early on and had everyone's attention plastered on me so that Fatty will have an easy time filling his future role. Crown Prince squinted. The emperor is ruler supreme and is clear about every little thing happening in Tianyu. Over the decades, it was only the Fatty roaming the lands. You didn't seem to like him, giving him the worst tasks while you actually favored him the most. You alienated him to protect him. All the tasks you picked for him were to shape him for the throne, while the great Crown Prince was still stuck with a target on his back, drawing everyone's hostility, only to end up kicked to the curb at the end. Crown Prince's eyes were bloodshot. The other 2 were hateful and unwilling, but still turned to the emperor, stunned. Yet the emperor only stared back at the Crown Prince. Crown Prince, believe it or not, I have never, not once, abandoned you. the emperor spoke up. But all Crown Prince heard was the most outrageous joke ever, shaking his head. Never, you're still trying to fool me even now. Your last jubilee made your choice painfully clear. You gave old second your men to keep the peace. You gave me a scepter, a symbol of power and fortune to do as I wished. But tell me which crown prince in our entire dynasty could do as he wished. When have you, imperial father, ever managed to do so? It was clear as day that you never cared for this crown prince. And what did you say to the fatty? No reward, humph, only the emperor doesn't need a reward in this world. Do you think I am dumb? Big brother, you've got it all wrong. How can you jump to conclusions over some jokes and think that imperial father wants to throw you away? The innocent Yongning stared back at him as Fatty remained silent with his thoughts. The emperor sighed. Crown Prince, is this why you kept sending assassins after your third brother? What? Yongning cried. Big brother went after. Third brother too? Crown Prince grinned while the fatty's face widened. The emperor sighed. I've known it for years. Crown Prince has sent his men again and again. Even as I had him go to Wingay's city, miles away from the imperial capital, the killer was right behind him. And with the last jubilee, the attempts only intensified. Your brother never once mentioned this, but I'm sure he was aware. Isn't it true, Kungur? Yes, imperial father, Fatty spoke with resolve. The emperor was just as confused. Mr. Fang, I didn't call for you. I did. The stunned emperor met Fatty's beady green eyes. This day is also the first time I've acted. Master wanted to lend me support for a while. The emperor shook his head. Kungur, I have read many people in my life, had the world at my fingertips, but you are the last one I ever expected to elude me. Kungur, you're truly my one good son. The emperor spoke heavily, whether from excitement or anger.